Hey, hope everybody's having a fantastic day. I'm actually doing this webinar on my laptop. Can you guys let me know if you guys can hear me okay? I'm used to my dual monitor system, and I feel like I typically have a huge amount of real estate that I'm looking at here, and this is a bit new for me. Oh, good. What's up, Michelle? Good to see you. Soul Man Dan, good to see you back here. We got Jonas. Ryan's is loud and clear. What's up, Sarah? Good to see you. Uh, thanks, Zuzi. All right. I am very excited about this webinar training, and let me just go to my slides here. Uh, because we're going to cover a topic that I believe can make you a lot of money if you take it seriously. It's something that I've been through the years talking about, and I'm sort of circling back to this hardcore this year because I'm seeing a real gap in a lot of your listings, and I'm seeing the same flaws time and time again. And I want to make sure that you guys fix these flaws so you can maximize the revenue. I mean, look, it's the same, whatever, $2, 3, 4, $5,000 investment to source and release a product, whether that product eventually sells 1,000 a month or 100,000 a month. And usually the difference comes down to one primary thing that we're going to be talking about this and actually next month as well. Anyway, I want to welcome all of my amazing, awesome fast trackers, and we're going to kick off the series that I just kind of alluded to, but I'm just going to spell it out for you, called Listing Creation Mastery. Okay. Let me just bounce out of my screen real quick here. So listing creation mastery. Now, suspend everything that you think you know about building listings, because we're going to sort of tackle this in a really unique and different way that I think will have a massive difference, not only on your income, but it'll have a ripple effect because it fixes all of the other financial dynamics within your business, especially with regards to conversion rates and sponsored ads results, et cetera, et cetera. So this might be one of the more profitable things that I can ever teach you. So my mission for Fast Track this year is to focus everything that I teach around the maximization of what I call business assets. Now, I don't mean assets like a CPA means assets. I'm talking about those off the book assets, things like your marketing assets, your list, all of these things that are the engines that drive wealth within your Amazon business. The fastest, easiest point of maximum leverage is to improve the results of your Amazon listings, whether it's a brand new listing or an existing listing. This is a maximum, massive, 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 massive point of leverage for you, okay? So that's gonna be my focus for this and next month. Plus, you know, in typical Ben Cummings style, we have a whole lot more. So let's get started. I always like to remind you guys to make sure that you're listening to our weekly Elevated E-commerce podcast, because stuff that we just talked about in the last few weeks will really enhance and plus everything that I'm teaching in this advanced content here that we teach in Fast Track. And if you miss a session, you can always review the archive at bencummings.com. And of course, you can listen on any smartphone device we are on. Oh gosh, all of the major podcast platforms, obviously iTunes, and I am blanking. What is the big music app? Spotify. So I know more and more people are using Spotify, and it was a bit of a pain to get on there, but you know, we're now getting a lot of listens from Spotify as well. So, you know, wherever you normally listen to your podcast, you can find us. And I just would highly recommend that you make this a weekly discipline. And how do you make something a weekly discipline? Well, you find a trigger. And in our case, we will always send out an email on Friday to remind you about what the topic is and that the new podcast has been released. And I would use that as your trigger. And, you know, just, you know, fire it up. You know, if you're a guy while you're shaving, you know, while you're driving around, while you're taking the kids to soccer practice, etc. You know, turn that drive time or that downtime into learning time. And if it's okay with you, because we have so much content that we're going to be covering this month. I'm going to skip the wins. I don't like to do that. I've only done it, I think, once or twice last year. We're going to do it this month just because we have so much stuff to go through, okay? So we're going to get right to the first module. How to write emotional direct response copy as it relates to Amazon listings. Now, please do me a favor, and I really want this to be interactive, and I hope that you take notes. But this is the first thing I want you to write down. Write down this term, emotional direct response copy. And you know, by the way, I was speaking to some family members and we're talking about copywriting. And I'm like, yeah, you know, when you write copy, and they're like, copy? What do you mean copy? And I realized I just used that in my vernacular, assuming everybody knows what I'm talking about. Copy, or the term, you know, copywriting, they mean the same thing, means the art and science of putting words to paper that compel somebody to go from a point of neutrality, like not necessarily wanting to buy, to whipping out their credit card and spending money with you, okay? Emotional direct response copy is the most powerful type of copywriting that you can engage in, okay? The ultimate example of emotional copy might be the Bible. And now if you think about it, what is the Bible? And, you know, I'm not going, you know, religious here at all. I'm just using like the Bible, which is arguably the most influential, you know, form of copywriting or book of copywriting in the history of mankind, literally. They use a lot of stories because stories tend to be emotional. Okay, that's just one example. I'm not saying that, oh, all of emotional direct response copywriting is about writing stories. No, that's just one element. The reason why stories work so well is you get swept up into the stories, and most good storytelling involves tension and emotion and a certain climax point in the story, and then resolution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, you guys with me? So anyway, so we're going to get into how to write emotional Amazon listings, but the thing I want you to write down is emotional direct response copy, okay? And I'm talking about the, you know, so sometimes when a teacher throws out stats or numbers, sometimes it is informed in such a way that they want to motivate you, okay? Other times it is done, well, so let me just cut to the chase. I try not to do that. So when I throw out a number like, how do you write emotional Amazon listings that convert, and it says age, but it should say that convert at 25% plus. That's not hyperbole. I've done it. I've taught people how to do this. And there is an art and science to this, and I'm going to teach you. Okay, I can't teach it over just, you know, one of these trainings. This is something that you're going to have to really own. We're going to have to dive into together. We're going to be kind of more interactive today than normal because I really want you guys to get this stuff. This will make you a tremendous amount of income throughout your entrepreneurial life. Okay, in this context, we're just applying it to Amazon listings, which I think is a tremendous advantage, as you'll learn, because most listings are way too overly analytical. And when they're overly analytical, and by the way, I've not gone to the next slide yet, so I haven't forgotten. But when you're overly analytical with your approach to writing listings, you give the person pause because you're activating that analytical mind. And when they're analytical, that means they're kind of more scrutinizing, okay? You don't want that. In fact, you want the opposite. You want to activate the impulsive mind, the excitable mind, the aspect of their mind that just says, yeah, that sounds good. Oh my God, this is gonna have a good feeling. Now they don't mentally say that to themselves, but yeah, this is gonna be a good feeling. Oh wow, this is exciting. You're activating a different part of the brain that is the impulse purchasing part of the brain, and they will purchase at a much higher rate. So if you really want the big reason why, and I'll get into this in a second, but the big reason why is this will make you a bleep load of money. We're talking conversion rates double or oftentimes triple than all the competition that is kind of oblivious or just doesn't understand what emotional direct response copy is about, okay? So what is the, here, I'm gonna ask you guys, and I'm sorry, because I'm on my laptop, I gotta bounce in and out, but what is the number one secret to success when writing an Amazon listing, okay? I would like you to type in the chat box. What do you think is the #1 key to success when writing an Amazon listing? Okay, just go ahead and type it in there. Just guess. Okay, Ryan says the benefits. Okay. Soulman Dan says to convert a customer into a buyer. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Everybody who's on this, please just type in an answer. I want this to be, I want all of you to be interactive because you're going to get way more out of this if you're engaged, if you're involved in the learning process. So Trevor says, show the benefit to the customer. Michelle says, benefits driven, followed by features. Nordine says, pain that they can solve with our product. Brian says, speak to the customer. Okay. Hank says, keywords for organic search. Tim says, to solve their problem. And remember, so I'm asking you, what is the #1 key to success when you're writing an Amazon listing? Prospect can see themselves using and benefiting from products. Another one from Kirsten about the conveying benefits. Michael also says features followed by benefits. Okay, so great pictures with great reviews, solve a problem, somebody else wrote. Emotional language to solve the problem, somebody else wrote. Know what your customer really wants, trigger emotions. Okay, I think you're all wrong. Okay, well, you're not 100% wrong, but I'll tell you what I think here. The #1 key is that it must appeal to the impulse buyer. That's a writer downer. Because if you know that's our mission, that we want to appeal, we must appeal. This is the #1 key to success when writing an Amazon listing. It must appeal to the impulse buyer. Okay, definitely write that down because that mission is going to frame everything else that we're going to be doing when we're constructing that massively high converting listing. And the reason why it must appeal, by the way, Ben, why does it must appeal to the impulse buyer? The reason is, so this means we have to bypass all of the analytical part of their thinking process. And when they're engaged in analytical kind of scrutinizing, comparing product and product features, right? Fact, analytical type of thinking, it slows down the buying process, the buying decision-making process. Does that make sense? Okay, so we want to bypass all of that. We want to go right to the crocodile part of the brain, okay? The emotional, the excitable part of their brains. When you do that, it disengages the critical thinking part so that they buy, and they buy now. I want them to buy now while they're on our listing. That is the only way you get 25, 35, 40% conversion rate. And by the way, if you don't think that's possible, then you haven't used the Trian's crystal ball software. I mean, it shows that there are listings and certain keywords. And by the way, the keywords tend to be more emotional oriented keywords that get sometimes upwards of 70 to 80% average conversion rate, okay? But I'm talking about across all of these keywords, if you kind of added them all together, getting an extraordinarily high conversion rate. The only way you do that is you have to disengage the critical thinking part of their brain and activate the impulse, okay? So that is the #1 key to success when writing an Amazon listing. And guess what? I will show you how to do that today. Okay, pretty cool? Now, why should you listen to me about writing Amazon listing copy and this topic of emotional, direct response copywriting? So I'm gonna throw out a disclaimer. I don't know, I haven't sat down and looked at my tax returns, over X number of years as an entrepreneur. Just my best estimate, just kind of spitballing, I've generated at least over $80 million. And I'm talking from my direct efforts. It's not like one of these claims that you hear on a pitch webinar where they say, I have generated $1 billion. And what they really mean is, they guess that based on their students out there, if they've just bumped into a student in an airport, oh, I I helped make that person $1 million. No. I'm talking from my direct efforts, not copywriters I've hired. I've written 90% of my own copy over the years. I've generated at least 80 million in gross sales in my businesses, thanks to these skills. And my Amazon listings consistently generated more conversions and higher sales than, the vast majority of Amazon sellers. My listings did so consistently. This is for multiple niches. I didn't have a freak, one hit wonder. No, this is consistently. Now look, were all of my products home runs? No. I mean, I've been very open about that. There's a lot of variables, okay? But as far as like, if you had to dial into, hey, what was Ben's success rate based on his listings and conversion rates into sales compared to other sellers, I am in the top 0.5% of Amazon sellers in history, okay? I don't say any of that to brag. The reason I'm saying this is to pump you up, because I'm an open book. I'm going to share exactly, at least my approach to it, and I believe it's absolutely learnable, okay? Now, what's in it for you to learn about writing emotional Amazon listings? Okay, so if you have a product on Amazon, guys, get this in your bones. The difference between doing, let's say, 5,000 a month or 50,000 a month or 150,000 a month, trust me, I've been in this game a long time. I know a lot of very successful people. It comes down to the conversion rate, okay? It comes down to the conversion rate. Conversion rate gets you much higher organic rankings, okay? It's like the tail that wags the dog, as they say. It allows you to buy much more aggressively sponsored ads traffic at a much higher profit. So now you flip the way the game is played. A lot of you are spending more and more money on sponsored ads, but not at a profit. If you fix a conversion rate, it has a multiplied impact on your sponsored ads traffic. It's much more profitable. You can afford to spend more, which kicks in your organic rankings. It blocks out the competition. I always like to remind you that Amazon, if you think about it, it's a closed ecosystem, okay? And so emotional direct response copy, what does it do? It instantly causes your listing to stand out from the herd. And most importantly, emotional direct response copy, as I've said a couple times, it bypasses the slower moving analytical brain and it stimulates the excitable, impulsive side of the brain. So learning emotional direct response will make you a lot more money and make it easier to succeed on Amazon relative to the fact that you're surrounded side to side, top to bottom by competition, okay? Hope that makes sense. So writing Amazon listings that converted over 25% are possible. And I guarantee you can learn how to do this, okay? And I just want to give you an example of this here, okay? There's a Britney Spears song called Hit Me Baby One More Time. By the way, when I first started to date Emily, my wife, somehow in the mid 2000s, she talked me into going to a Britney Spears concert. And it was hysterical. It was the best view I ever had because the average mean age in there was about 12 years old. It was a female 12 years old. So like I was like towering over everybody. I had the perfect view of the stage. And also, if you've ever been to one of these big concert events, and if you're a guy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you try to go to the bathroom, it's just horrendous experience. There's 30 guys deep hovering behind you while you're trying to use the freaking urinal. I mean, it's the worst experience ever. But not at a Britney Spears concert. I was like the only guy in there. So like I'd go to the bathroom, I'd be like, it's like, it's the quietest concert going bathroom experience I had in my life. But anyway, so Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby One More Time. Katy Perry has a song called I Kissed a Girl that kind of shot her to fame. One More Night by Maroon 5. A Taylor Swift song called Shake It Off. Remember The Weeknd? He was huge a couple years ago. Can't Feel My Face, that was huge. Justin Timberlake, Can't Stop the Feeling. What do all these songs have in common? They all hit number one on the Billboard 100 Hot List. And believe it or not, they were all written by the same person you've never heard of, Max Martin. By the way, he's got 22 #1 singles in the US. The only person that comes close is Paul McCartney and John Lennon, and then him. So what is the hidden architecture behind all of his successful songs? Well, first of all, they have a short, unique intro, kind of like a pattern interrupt, which that is a good thing to write down, a pattern interrupt. So when you listen to a Max Martin song, you'll recognize it right off the bat. So as Martin says, quote, "I came from a DJ world, and to keep people on the dance floor, they had to know what the song was like right away." So a great example of this, guys, is the opening to a Britney Spears, "Hit Me Baby One More Time." And you might remember it starts out, dun, dun, dun. And that's an example of that. So that was his first thing, a pattern interrupt, something that, boom, as soon as you hear it, you know the song. Second, all of his songs hit the chorus. In music, they call it the hook or the chorus. All of his songs hit the chorus within less than a minute, so very fast. Why? Because the audience has a much shorter attention span than audiences in the past. So the chorus or the hook of a song must get to the point fast. Why? Because people will just switch the station. By the way, there's a great copywriting lesson that I'm giving you in all of these. Also, his lyrics are written in very, very basic English. Most of them are well below a 4th grade reading level. Most of his songs only have 3 to 4 chords. So simple, focused, simple beat. The moment you hear it, it's very emotional. And finally, his songs usually develop kind of slowly, introducing one new sound or instrument element at a time. So, like, in other words, he doesn't overwhelm the listener with too much at the same time. In other words, too much facts. Are you with me here? And he uses those different musical elements to create tension and balance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? So anyway, very, very interesting. My point is there's a secret architecture to writing a #1 hit in music, and there's a secret architecture, right? I say secret or hidden architecture because now that I explained it, every time you hear one of these songs, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, there's that pattern interrupt, there's a simple language, the hook comes on quick, blah, blah, blah. It's the same thing with writing emotional direct response copy, guys. It's the same thing. So let me show you an image that explains everything about writing emotional listings that convert at over 25%. So there's a book by Oren Klaff. I can never remember the name of it. I think it's called Pitch Anything or something like this. He was a guy that would be hired to go pitch venture capitalists to invest in early stage tech startups. Okay, and if you know anything about the venture capitalist world or the investment banking world, they're gruff, they're harsh, they're impatient. They will interrupt you. They want you to get to the point. So for him to navigate those waters incredibly successfully, by the way, he had to understand emotional psychology, because these are very analytical people, but we know that people don't buy analytically, right? They buy emotionally, and they back up or they justify what they just bought using logic, but they buy emotionally at their core, okay? So I got this out of Oren Klaff's book. Okay, so see these 3 different areas. First, it says #1, it says like #1, the croc brain, #2, the midbrain, and #3 is a neocortex. So see how it starts in the middle, then there's a layer, and then there's a 3rd layer on the outer layer, okay? So the difference between where it says #1, the croc brain, and #3, the neocortex, the difference between those 3 areas is 3 to 5 million years of evolution. Isn't that interesting? The brain consumes about 25% of the body's energy. I don't know if you know that. So the brain is an energy. It likes hogging the body's energy. I mean, like on a percentage basis, for such a small percentage, it's an energy hog. Okay, so everything is wired in our brains to conserve energy. And the croc brain, where it says #1, the croc brain is the oldest. It's the most primitive part of our brain. It is the emotional part of the brain. Okay, moving outward is the midbrain. This is where I'm I'm massively oversimplifying all this just for brevity, but the midbrain basically is the social interactions and processes, things like this. And now neocortex, see, as you move outwards, it's more complex kind of functioning. The neocortex, or the layer of the brain that developed last in our evolution, is the newest part of the brain. It's for complex problem solving. Okay, so the neocortex is what separates us from animals, basically, okay? Now, the problem with a lot of your listings is you're forcing, just because you haven't known this information yet, you're kicking the person out of croc brain mode, which is emotional, impulsive, and you're moving them into the third, highly critical, slower thinking part of the brain called the neocortex. That's the exact opposite thing that you want to do, okay? Exact opposite thing that you want to do. So why is this graphic important when writing listings? It's important because the croc brain, number one, will filter information. It acts as a gateway, because remember, we said that the brain is an energy hog. It consumes 25% of the body's energy, and that evolution has wired our brains to try to find ways to conserve energy. So it doesn't kick everything through all three layers of the brain. The crocodile brain acts as the gatekeeper. You know, it's like the toll booth keeper, and you first got to make it through there, otherwise you're dead in the water. So when our readers go through and read our listings, the first and most important touch point will be by the croc brain. That's the part of the brain that we want to influence, that is the easiest to influence, because it's the most primitive, which is good for us. Okay, now, if you want, and by the way, I got these metaphors from one of the most successful copywriters at Agora called Evaldo. Okay, and I if I have a, I like to give credit where credit's due. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, I forget to say, oh, I got this idea from over here, or I got this quote from over there, but I'll try to do that whenever possible. I think it's important. So if you want your listing to convert, it has to pass through 3 filters successfully in the croc brain, okay? Write that down, 3 filters. So write down croc brain. Okay, so bigger picture, we're talking about emotional direct response copy. And the reason why that's important is because why we want your listing to convert at 25% or greater, okay? Or at least have that as the universal goal or mission, okay? And so if you want your listing to hit those high conversion rates, we want to massively influence the croc brain, and there's 3 filters or 3 checklists, or 3 filters that we have to activate. The first, and again, this is from Evaldo, this is his term, I like it, so I'm going to steal it for this. He calls it the lion or the rabbit filter. Okay, write this down. The lion or rabbit filter means opportunity or threat. Now, if you think about the croc brain, it's the most primitive part of the brain. This is what kept you alive. So it had to make a quick emotional decision. Is this a great opportunity to get excited about, like food? Or is this a threat that should scare the living bleep out of me and I need to run to save my life? And so it's a highly emotional filter, the lion or rabbit, and we want to activate one or the other in our listing. Sometimes you can do both, but not always with a physical product. Now, if I'm selling, I don't plan to reopen Fast Track anytime soon. I like to keep it an exclusive club, but if I did, that is a bit more of an sort of an intellectual sale, right? So I can easily activate both the opportunity, how much Fast Track can make you, and being part of, plugged into what I believe is the greatest tribe and smartest brains in the industry, okay? And what that can make you in your Amazon business. But conversely, how you'll be left behind, how if you're not, plugged in and you're not learning about, instant changes that you have to adapt to with ranking and keyword structure and this kind of stuff, that it can, cause that business to collapse very quickly. See, so sometimes you can use both opportunity and threat, but generally I found with most physical products, because you don't have to be as nuanced like you do when you're selling, paper and ink. It's pretty, it's more straightforward, so you have an easier task when you're selling a physical product, okay? That you really want to focus either on the opportunity, the thing that gets them super excited, or the threat. Okay. So another way to view lion or rabbit is, will this really help me or will this hurt me? Okay, you might want to write that down. Will this help me or will this actually hurt me? And kind of the way I think about it is like, are the stakes high here? Like, how high are the stakes? Should I really pay attention to this? Because if you don't make me feel like the stakes are pretty high, and if you don't make me feel like I should really pay attention to this, I'm out of there. I'm bouncing off your listing. I'm checking out another listing. Okay. All right. The next filter is called the Geico filter. It's so easy, even a caveman can do it. So you can probably guess the croc brain likes things simple. So is this simple? Is this idea simple? Or is this complex? Because if it's complex, you know what the croc brain is going to say? It's going to say, you know what, forget this. I don't want to deal with this. It's going to take too much time. It'll just consume too much energy. All right. And then the curiosity filter. What does this mean? Is this new? Or is this something I've already seen before, so I can tune out and move on and bounce off that listing? So we have to activate the newness, the curiosity. Okay. So it's like the neocortex is telling the croc brain, hey man, if I've already seen this before, don't pass this information on to me. I've already solved that problem in the past. I don't want to deal with it. I need to conserve energy. Okay. So I want to show you guys a fun YouTube video clip that I found. This guy says he's the greatest salesman. He's selling something on a Las Vegas strip. Just kind of kick back. This is going to be fun, but keep in mind the lion or rabbit filter, the Geico filter, and the curiosity filter with like pattern interrupts that he uses and things like this. So just, it's a short clip. It's live from the Vegas strip. I think you'll really enjoy this.
Hey, how's it going, brother? Yeah. Don't beat me up, man. Just the KKK, the cool colors. Shake your hand with your finger. I'm kidding. Daniel. Man, we've been on the road like toilet paper. You see those shoes right here? We got the best thing since pants with pockets. Who did that?
He did.
You don't like that, do you?
No, I don't.
My mom said if it's darker than me and it don't pay bills, it shouldn't be there, right?
No.
You heard of miracles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you about to see a pink one today. All right, see right here? This right here, this is a cleaner. All you do is you mix with water, not whiskey, okay? Now don't laugh too hard because they're gonna see this chocolate kid scrubbing your shoe, okay? But they said just like Nicolas Cage because it's gone in 60 seconds, all right? So watch this right here. This takes the rubbing out of scrubbing and it leave more time for kissing and hugging and family loving. And it's unisex too. It's made for a woman strong enough for a man, like secret deodorant, okay? Look at that right there. Oh my goodness. Would you say that's whiter than a Colgate Smile?
Yes, sir.
I showed Stevie Wonder that yesterday. He said he ain't never seen nothing like that. I'm impressed. I think I should buy me a bottle. What you think?
I don't know, man.
Well, it's a concentrate. It's gonna help you stay focused while you clean. See, it's a good hands like last day. That one bottle lasts longer than my last relationship. You know how to make Kool-Aid, right?
I do.
High five, you probably know how to use it. See, all you need is a couple dabs like the Migos. And then the good part about it, it cleans like 100 pairs of shoes. So I know that one bottle ain't gonna take the cheese out the macaroni, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, on Amazon, because you got internet?
Yeah.
We all over the web like a tarantula. So on Amazon, we actually got it for like $39.95, but I can give you a deal today. This is the HBO special. That means we get to help a brother out. You get the full package. Unlike Madonna, it's never been touched. So it comes sealed like Heidi Klum, and that's only $19.95. And then I'm gonna give you a brush with it just because you ain't make me clean both of your shoes, okay? Because they've been working me like I'm black and paying me like I'm Mexican, okay? I'm really mixed though. Did you know I was mixed?
With what?
My mama black and my daddy black as hell. Yeah. So hey, you think one bottle? You think the one package gonna be enough for you? It's only 20 bucks. I just sold a 15-year-old and he just bought it because he said his mom spent way more than 20 bucks on these shoes. Because I'm pretty sure you spent more than 20 on that, right?
A little bit more, yeah.
Why count pennies when you're saving dollars? Right. You talking me into it. So you think one package is enough for you?
Just the one, yeah.
All right.
How much is it?
It's just 20 bucks.
20?
Yeah.
You have any cash? You sold me.
Thanks,
I like
man.
it.
How far? I thought you was about to make me clean
20.
both of your shoes.
I'll give you another 5 if you clean the other one.
Well, I'm off on Sundays at the church. You can adopt me. Add a little color to the family too. I sleep standing up like a horse. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for support.
Appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
That was good.
I love that guy. Oh my God, he engaged the croc brain from the moment go. Was it lion or rabbit? It was rabbit all the way. Opportunity. He got, he made it appear new, right? He engaged the person. By the way, I don't know if you noticed this, but he used yes momentum constantly, saying, "Hey, what do you think about this? You agree? Yeah, yeah." And he got the guy saying, "Yeah, yeah." He used pattern interrupts constantly through humor. Did he use the Geico filter, right? Was it simple to understand? Yes. And the curiosity filter, yes, absolutely, because he did a show and tell demo. And again, I already mentioned he's using pattern interrupts and humor and likability all throughout. That was pure croc brain salesmanship. And the guy's likable, right? He was really, really funny. All right, let's keep going here. And by the way, Ed, can you just let me know if my audio and screen can be heard by all still? Just want to make sure we are good to go. I'm kind of paranoid working off my laptop here. Something's going to go wrong. Okay, all good, awesome. All right, so did Lenny Brooks pass the 3 croc brain filters? So will this really help me or hurt me? Yes. Is it simple? Yes. Is this new or interesting? Yes. So here's the deal. Your product pitch must check 3 boxes. Otherwise, the croc brain will reject it. Okay. Write down these 3 boxes. Think of these as a simple 3-step checklist, but we're going to be going through an exercise here using this simple 3-step checklist. Okay. Number 1, emotional. Write this down. Emotional, because I'm going to have you do this in a second. Emotional. Will this product help me or hurt me? Are the stakes high or not so much? Now, see how he elevated the stakes in that Las Vegas Strip example here, where he was on the Vegas Strip. So it went from like if I were just to ask somebody, hey, are your shoes dirty? Most people walking by would be like, no, I'm fine, man. He actually got on the ground and started cleaning somebody's shoes. So he made the stakes high. So you can manufacture the importance or increase or ratcheting up the stakes. You can manufacture that with good emotional copy, okay? So that's step number 1, emotional. All right, your listing has to hit the reader at the emotional level. Huge, huge, huge. I'm going to say the word emotional probably 200 times on this presentation. Okay, now, again, this is the first kind of checklist thing here, but here's how you want to kind of think about it. And let's just do a live demo for a French press. So let's say that we're going to sell a French press on Amazon. All right. On the lion side, lion is the pain points, the threat, the loss, the emotional pain points. You with me? So lion or rabbit. So these don't have to be overly hard for you to come up with. So just off the top of my head, I wrote, most French presses will break or they're of low quality. So that might be a pain point or threat to me when I'm looking at your listing. Will this be too difficult to use? Maybe I've never used a French press before. It looks exotic. I've seen one used, but I'm not really sure. Maybe I won't be able to figure it out. Okay, that can be a lion type of threat. Hey, will this look good? It might ruin the look of my countertop if you have a high-end home, etc. Okay, or another threat is, hey, maybe it's made of cheap materials from China, right? It might contain harmful chemicals that could negatively affect my health since I'm drinking out of this thing. Well, I'm making liquid, hot liquid that I'll be drinking, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, on the rabbit side, this is the emotional pleasure points, the opportunities. Now look, this is important. You can take each pain point on the left and convert them into an opportunity that you can use in your listing copy. So just as a super basic example, if one of the pain points or threats is most French presses are going to break or they're of low quality and won't last long, the opportunity side of that, the rabbit, is we're going to stress the quality. We're going to stress the durability or special manufacturing process used in the materials, right? We're going to explain maybe the narrative behind the manufacturing process, but not in an analytical way, in a very emotional way, okay? All right, So the second thing, so just going back, so the first, again, we said there must be 3 boxes that you check off. Otherwise, the croc brain will reject it. Emotional is number 1. The way you ring out the emotions on the first pass is you make a list of the lion and the rabbit for your product, okay? Then the second checkbox, it has to be simple. So if you cannot explain the thing that makes your product really cool or neat or interesting in one sentence, like you saw Lenny do in Las Vegas, if it's not understandable by anybody who hears that sentence, then it's not simple enough, all right? If it's convoluted, if you have to go on and on, if you're too verbose, it's not simple enough. You haven't thought about simplifying that marketing message, that emotional marketing message enough. I hope that makes sense. So if you pitch me on your product and I have to ask you questions, it's too complex, all right? So that's the second checkbox. The third one is unique, or does it at least sound like a new idea? It cannot sound like something that is ordinary, boring, run-of-the-mill that I can easily go out to, drive to the local Walgreens or 7-Eleven and buy it out of the bargain bin. It's not gonna be successful. You're not gonna get high conversion rate. So yes, this requires thinking, not money, not special patents and hiring engineers, thinking, because you can invent or manufacture with good marketing a unique sounding aspect to the product, okay? So your first test before you go live with your listing, or if you're gonna go back and fix a listing that's not converting well, your first test is, does it check all 3 of these boxes? If it doesn't check all 3 boxes and you're 100% sure about that it purposely, that it does so in, with certainty, it's back to the drawing board. And I'm not saying this is easy, by the way. Notice I never said at the, in my opening comments, this is an easy system for writing emotional direct response copy. I've had products where I feel like I'm drawing blood. It just takes a lot of time and energy and a lot of trips to Starbucks and going through a lot of yellow legal pads or drawing pads, or I'm just sketching ideas. I'm reviewing the manufacturing process. I'm doing Google research on one of the like ingredients used in the product or one of the materials to find out the history, and boom, there's my hook. So I'm not saying it's super easy, okay? And by the way, I am using AirPods. I'm gonna go to my laptop speaker so I can just charge this up real quick. It only takes about 10 seconds, so just sit tight for about 5 seconds. Okay, so I'll sound a little different just for about 5 minutes here. I'll let my headphones charge up here, but I think the audio is much better in the headphones, so thanks for dealing with that. All right, so let's do a class exercise here, okay? And here's the class exercise. You all either have an Amazon product or you have one in the works, right? So I want as many of you who are willing to raise your hand on GoToWebinar. So there's a spot where there's this little hand icon. You can raise your hand. When you raise your hand, I'm going to call on you, meaning we want to be able to hear you. So you have to have a microphone on your device that you're using. Most of you do now. Most every device does, because they're built in with FaceTime or Skype or whatever. So you'll have to have a built-in mic on your laptop or whatever. So please only raise your hand if we can interact. And what I want you to do, and don't worry about perfection. Let me just say that right now, but I want you to give me your 30-second elevator pitch about your product, okay? And again, this is not about, saying, oh, you did a bad job, or like anything like that. What we're gonna do is, I want you to give me your 30-second elevator pitch, and you're gonna tell me if it goes through those 3 checklists, right? of is it emotional? Is it simple? Is it unique, or does it sound like a new idea? Okay, so if you're willing to participate, please do me a favor and raise your hand, and we will go ahead and do that. Let me just take a look. All right, so we have David. Oh, you guys are shy, huh? All right. So David, are you there? David? I'm not hearing you, David. So if you have a microphone, go ahead and make sure it's that. Yeah, I'm not hearing you, David. All right, I'm gonna lower his hand. Yeah, so go ahead and raise your hand if you want to interrupt. Boy, you guys are wimps. Come on, raise some hands, will ya? Hey, I mean, it won't impact me. I mean, I know how to do this stuff. Wow, this tells me that you guys don't really have a good 30-second elevator. Oh, okay, Trevor. Good job, Trevor. Thank you. Hey, Trevor, are you there?
Yeah, here, Ben.
Hey, Trevor, how are you? Thanks for raising your hand. Appreciate it.
It's okay. Let's see what we got.
Yeah.
So I have a range of travel gear products, and the essential proposition for the range is that my brand of travel gear products help you travel, or ensure that you travel both comfortably and safely. That's
Okay.
it.
Well, let's get more specific. You don't have to, well, I know it's kind of hard without you mentioning a product. If you have a product that is, maybe you can language it in a more generic way. I want to drill down on if your elevator pitch for one specific product hits the 3 factors. Are you able to do that without giving anything away?
Probably not then, without sort of spilling the beans. But if you don't mind, I won't do that, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'll try and be more generic if I can, if there's another way that you think I could do it.
Yeah, it's going to be hard because we want to see if your 30-second elevator pitch about your product, hits me up on the, will the product help me or hurt me? Is it a simple hook that I can understand, kind of like that Max Martin hook? Is it a simple hook like that Britney Spears song? Now, Trevor, I know that you're a closet Britney Spears fan, right?
Definitely.
Definitely, yeah. By the way, she's really brilliant. She now has an exhibit. I think it's in Las Vegas. It is hugely successful, and it's for her fans. It's such a money grab, but I love it because it's so brazen, Trevor. Because she has her fans spending a lot of money to reenact some of her famous MTV videos. It's basically like her own museum, even though she's still alive. I mean, you just gotta love it. But and then the third aspect is, is it unique? Does it sound like a new idea? So,
I'll fess up, Ben. I think I possibly fall short on the last one. Is it unique? Probably not unique enough. So I think I have some work to do.
Okay, all right, fair enough. And Trevor, I thank you for raising your hand here, and we will. Let's go to somebody else here. It looks like Michelle has her hand raised. Whoops. Okay, Michelle, I have just unmuted you. So Michelle,
okay.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thank you. Shout out to Trevor. We met each other at the Canton Fair this year. Just wanted to say hi to him. So my product, I thought this was a perfect one to use because I'm going to be discontinuing it, so I don't care if everybody hears about it.
Great.
It's a window bird feeder. It's one that I designed to make it so much more user friendly than what's on the market. Unfortunately, I can't get it to sell, and I can't get my COGS correct, so it's going to be a goner. But my emotional pitch was, you know, basically that I just improved upon every system. I moved the suction cups from where they're traditionally placed all the way to the edges so that there's unobstructed panoramic view. And I made the seed tray from 2 cups like everybody has to 4 cups. And I added extra suction cups, just like as a free giveaway, you know, so that if they needed replacement ones, they had them there.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was all 3 in one of your questions, or maybe just ask me each question and I can tell you what I would say.
I think yours is a good example. So I'm gonna go ahead and mute you here because I'm hearing a little feedback. But thank you, Michelle. I really appreciate you raising your hand. Let me just 1 second. Lower the hand so I don't call on Trevor. And there we go. Okay. So by the way, thank you for putting yourself out there, by the way, because I know this is kind of putting everybody on the spot. So is it emotional enough? For me, it was no, which probably is maybe why you're not getting the conversion rate that you want. Is it a simple idea? For me, no. It might be more simple if I saw your images. So, but I would say no, because I instantly, my first reaction was I want to start asking you questions about it. And that's your first trigger. If I have to ask you a bunch of follow-up questions to really understand it, I don't think it's simple enough. And granted, I know that we put you totally on the spot here. Okay, so I bet if you had time to put all this into a paragraph or something, you know, this might, you know, resolve some of these issues. The third one, I would say yes. Does it sound unique or like a new-ish idea? I would say yes. So if I had to grade you, I would say you only hit 1 of the 3 filters. Okay, and that's just an example. Again, I'm not picking on Michelle at all. I'm so grateful that she raised her hand. Let me give you an example here, so that this might help you. So I'll go first then, I guess. Well, I'll go third. Let's pretend we had a makeup brush set, very competitive item on Amazon, selling makeup brushes, okay? And we're not gonna sell like a single one called a kabuki brush. We're gonna sell a set, you know, like, so it comes in a cup or some kind of holder. And so my elevator pitch might be something like this. Nothing ruins a night out like feeling totally insecure when you walk out that door because you know your makeup doesn't look good. Never fear that moment again, because with our revolutionary new vegan Lux Fiber filament technology, it guarantees flawless makeup application every single time. These are the best feeling makeup brushes you'll ever use, or your money back. All right, so was that emotional? Yes, right? We stuck the dagger and nothing ruins your night out like feeling insecure and never fear and blah, 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 okay? Is it a simple idea? Yes, because the way we're gonna solve that fear is with Lux Fiber filament technology. So it's a very simple idea. And did it sound unique or like a new idea? Yes. So we got 3 yeses in that, okay? So let's see, it looks like Brian has his hand raised. I'm gonna go to Brian next. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Brian, are you there?
Yes, Ben, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you for raising your hand. All right, let's hear your elevator pitch.
All right, I've got a range of cleaning products. So this is what I would say, and it's called Mrs. Gleams. So
Great.
we've got a pitch. Mrs. Gleams removes stains quickly and easily. Just spray the stain and watch the stain disappear in front of your very eyes. Our secret formula is unique and has been developed by our very own chemist.
You know, I like that a lot. I think the one aspect that you're missing is the emotional part. Now, by the way you worded that though, you got me excited. So, but we want to add like something like, and this is bad copy that I'm going to give you, but nothing is more frustrating than waking up and stepping on dog poo, or something like that.
Yeah.
So we want to really ramp up the emotion. But I would say, is it emotional? As you read it, I would say close. Is it a simple idea? Yes. And does it sound unique? Yes. So that was a good example, Brian. I appreciate you raising your hand here, buddy.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is, and thank you so much, by the way, for participating. Those of you bold enough to raise your hand, I really, really appreciate it. So you saw how I am constantly trying to run these various ideas through these three filters. Is it emotional? Is it a simple idea? And does it sound unique, or does it appear to be a new idea? By the way, one thing I would have Brian do is to name his unique formula. This is the only place in the world where you can find the blah, blah, blah 3-step formula or whatever. So it's the more specific you can on naming the unique feature, will stake a claim in the consumer's mind that this is truly unique. So like in my example, and I'll say this again because you might just want to jot this down. Nothing ruins the night out like feeling insecure when you walk out that door because your makeup isn't looking good. Never fear that moment again because of our revolutionary new vegan Lux fiber filament technology. So in this example, we just invented a name. And in truth, it can be the same, nearly the same high quality filament that's used in higher end makeup brushes, but we were just the first to name it, to come up with a unique sounding name. Ideally, once you see that product has traction, you would trademark that unique sounding name. You don't have to patent it because you can't really patent that because it's not maybe truly unique, but the name that you came up with for marketing is unique. All right, great. So along the lines of, does it sound unique? Does it sound like a new idea? And in that example I gave you with the new vegan Lux fiber filament technology, that's what we call a mechanism, a new mechanism, okay? Now don't get stuck on these terms, but this is a term that the guy from Agora likes to use, and I'm going to borrow it here because I think it's relevant. What is your new mechanism? So the formula is, once your readers believe your product is the key to what they're looking for on Amazon, now they have to believe you're the only one who can meet that need. That's a writer downer. This is the formula. So now we're drilling deeper here. So once your readers believe your product is the key to what they're searching for online, now they have to believe you're the only one that can meet that need. Does that make sense? So here, let me just go back. What do I mean by your new mechanism? I mean, we're going to need to creatively imagine a new way to verbalize either a single product feature, or like in Brian's case, this secret formula. We want to name it. We want to flesh that out a bit more so the market views it as unique, truly a special attribute they could never get anywhere else. It's going to make them want to rebuy, in Brian's case, if it's a reorder product. It's going to make them more impulsive to buy your product because you're giving them that emotional croc brain sip of the cocktail that the croc brain loves. So having a new mechanism is really key on Amazon, where again, it's a closed ecosystem, as I mentioned earlier. So no matter what niche you operate in on Amazon, chances are your prospects have, quote, seen everything. So this is really, really critical. You have to make them believe that only your new mechanism can help them, okay? So there's a great quote by Eugene Schwartz. He is one of the most famous copywriters and marketing strategists. He made an absolute fortune using emotional direct response copy. He's got a book called Breakthrough Marketing. Sort of an oddly written book, which is strange because he's a great copywriter, but the book is a little convoluted, but But if you can make your way through it, I think it'll make a big impact on it, on you. But this is a great quote. If your market is at the stage where they've heard all the claims in all their extremes, then mere repetition or exaggeration won't work any longer. What this market needs now is a new device, a new mechanism, a new way to make the old promise work. A fresh chance, a brand new possibility of success where only disappointment has resulted before. All right, so examples of a new mechanism. Well, let me just back up. Examples of a new mechanism in a beauty niche. It could be a unique combination of anti-aging ingredients. In a water filtration niche that you're maybe selling on Amazon, it could be a unique filter that accentuates the oxygen levels in water, and that has been proven to help reduce cancer or reduces free radicals, yada, yada, yada. In the supplements niche, it could be, again, a combination of natural herbs all in one pill, which they normally would have to buy like 3 or 4 separate pills to get, etc. So some examples of a new mechanism outside of Amazon, or rather with big brands you've heard of, just because I really want you to get this. How many of you have heard of P90X? It's that workout system. I actually bought this many, many years ago. It's a hardcore workout system. Their new mechanism is basically avoiding the plateau effect is the key to building muscle, and it's attainable only through the P90X muscle confusion system. That's a new mechanism, the P90X muscle confusion system. Proactive acne treatment. If we had to sum it up, it would be attacking acne at every stage of the skin cycle is the key to keeping your skin clear and healthy looking, and it's attainable only through proactive 3-step combination therapy. Even Febreze, we can use, the air freshener as an example. Adding a pleasant smell at the end of your cleaning routine is the key to keeping your home looking fresh and clean, and it's attainable only through Febreze's odor clear technology. Okay. So now I want to show you some image examples that demonstrates that mechanism, that new mechanism, or that what makes this product unique. So for a makeup brush set, you can see it says unique synthetic luxe fiber. Our unique synthetic luxe fiber brushes for perfect makeup application. Luxe fiber lasts longer, smoother application. It reduces falling out fibers, faster, more beautiful makeup application each time, right? So that's a new mechanism, luxe fiber. For cellulite cream, boy, the Croc brain loves simplicity, like 3-minute treatment makes skin tighter and firmer, okay? And then here's another example of a cellulite cream, unique ingredient narrative infographic, okay? Now, you gotta be careful with some of these graphics, as this can activate that neocortex, that more analytical part of the brain, but used in context with strong emotion, the death of your product is if you have a look-alike, boring, ordinary product that the Croc brain says, been there, done that, I'm not interested, I need something more exciting and more emotional. Okay, so while you can argue, hey, this could activate that neocortex part of the brain because now you're drilling a little bit deeper on what makes that product unique, it's very, very important that you don't be boring. If you're boring, they are out of there. Boring is the opposite of exciting, so you want to amp up and amplify every emotion possible, okay? So how do you succeed? Oh, by the way, I'm gonna throw in my headphones now. We should be good. A little bit better audio quality. Just give me a second.
Let's make sure you got, okay, there we go. Hey, Ed, can you just let me know if you can hear me okay, now that I've got my headphones back on here? All good, excellent, thank you, Ed. All right. So how to succeed with a new mechanism that satisfies the Croc brain, AKA the impulse buyer. So I find that people start getting really obsessed with finding this big idea and they stress themselves out, or they get overly complex or way too creative, and they just can never get off the starting block with this type of idea. here's how I look at this. Look, if my physical product idea, if my new mechanism passes those 3 checkboxes I gave you earlier, right? I ask myself, is this an idea worth testing out in an Amazon listing? If the answer is yes, I just try it. I don't overthink it. I don't obsess over, oh my God, I need to come up with the most amazing, elevator pitch in the history of mankind. No, I do the best I can. Sometimes certain products, it just kind of comes right away. Others, it's like a struggle and it takes some time. But once I find my new mechanism that passes all 3 of those check boxes, right, I test it because I can always change it later. So I just want to really encourage you, don't seek perfection. There's no such thing as perfection when it comes to emotional direct response copywriting. So let me give you a couple great tips for uncovering a strong mechanism, okay? If you're really struggling. So create a new mechanism for an ingredient. So, I remember we were releasing an off Amazon brand of skincare products that contained some ingredients that Amazon really frowned upon. They weren't bad for people, but they could be misused. And I don't know, I guess Amazon just didn't want these harsh is the wrong term, but there were ingredients in the skincare products that if misused, it could kind of agitate the skin. So anyway, Amazon, I guess, ran into too many problems with vendors that were like selling products with too high of a concentration of this one ingredient. So we developed an off Amazon line of products that uses really good ingredients. And I remember for one of the products, we did really well with it by accentuating one ingredient. We brought to light this kind of obscure but exotic sounding ingredient, and we named that ingredient formula, and it gave us this great emotional hook that we were able to use both rabbit and lion on, and it easily hit all, it was simple and it sounded new. So it hit all 3 of those check boxes for the croc brain. Okay, so I'm just giving you some examples of lines of thought, okay? You can also maybe do a unique product feature or a feature you can make sound unique by naming it. Like I gave you the example of we took kind of an ordinary makeup brush and we made it sound revolutionary, breakthrough, by just coming up with a cool sounding name, for that filament called Lux Fiber. Or you can even build a product narrative around the origin of that product, okay? So those are just some kind of general ideas that can give you some ideas that you can pursue, okay? Now, another good one is to study competitors, but don't study your direct competitors. So like going back to the makeup brush set, if I was gonna release a makeup brush set, I would not study my direct competition. I don't even want their unique ideas entering into my brain. So I would study other Amazon listings. Here, let me just be more clear. You should be studying and reading at least 1, 2, or 3 top-ranked Amazon listing every day. That's so you can get into the rhythm of just observing and reading the bullets of a super successful Amazon listing every single day, looking at the images, looking at the product description. So if you want to get good at this, I would say just pick a random product category and study the top 3 listings for the super competitive product category, and do this every single day for the next 60 days. Now, you might have heard me say this on a podcast, but I have been on this tear where almost every single day, not literally every day because it's hard, but at least every other day, I'm studying one epic piece of a direct response copy. I'm talking like a VSL that's selling, millions and millions of dollars on the front end, or a direct response newspaper ad that has been now expanded into hundreds of newspapers that are just absolutely destroying the competition and crushing it. So I'm trying to just kind of constantly satch my brain with the world's best emotional direct response copy. And you can kind of simulate that on a very, very easy an efficient way by studying the top Amazon listings. Just literally have a discipline. Maybe first thing in the morning, you're going to type in, let's say, dog treat, and you're going to read the top 3 organic listings. The top, not the sponsored ads that come up, because you don't know if they're actually high converting or not. That's just people spending money. But the top 3 organic listings that have a large number of reviews. That way, you know it's not, ranking manipulation and stuff like that. Because I want you to study the ones that can sink or swim on their own. So again, you're going to read all the bullets. Make sure you look at the images, read the product description. What you want to do is you want to try to see what they're doing and garner those lessons. Now, in my case, I keep a document where when I do this study of the successful direct response pieces, I'm making notes of what I'm learning. Oh, they did this, or they named this, or they had this really unique proof element over here, or they did this. You want to keep notes of this. And what you'll do is you'll start making these connections in your brain for ideas that can now be brought over to your product or your niche, to your makeup brush set, okay? All right, so let's now, before we end my segment here, I want to give you something very specific. So we started sort of wide with the general concept. I gave you the mental framework with the croc brain. We got more specific with the 3 filters. I gave you some ideas of how to come up and create your new mechanism. I gave you some examples of that in and outside of Amazon. Now let's get into how do you infuse an Amazon listing with more emotional copy that converts? Well, think about it. What makes something emotional? Go ahead and type in a chat box. I want to see what you guys think. I mean, let's just start at the most logical step. What makes something emotional to you? Please go ahead and type in a chat box. What makes something emotional to you? Okay, Ryan says it touches on a pain point. That makes something emotional to you. Okay, yep. David says money and family. Okay, well those are specific things that are emotional for you. Gary says invokes a feeling. Okay, so what makes something emotional? Something that evokes a feeling happy or sad, something that brings up happy or sad, fear. Michael says replaying common problems that a product would be solving, something that maybe the customer has experienced before. Okay, Michael is the closest to what I'm going for here. So what makes something emotional? Like if I said, hey, I saw this movie, I was so moved emotionally. What moved me emotionally? Not the emotion, but what made me emotional? David also came close. He said says we connect it to them. It's personal. Okay, so that's an interesting question, right? Because if I say, hey, make your copy more emotional, well, what makes something emotional, right? So I find to define something, sometimes it's easier to define what something is not. So are facts on a Army dog tag emotional, like name, rank, and serial number? Are those emotional? No, they're not, right? So that's something that's not emotional. But then why do people create listings? The vast majority of listings are also devoid of all emotion, focusing on the analytical product facts similar to a dog tag, name, rank, and serial number, like in the Army, right? You guys with me? So if I hand the typical fact sheet of the product attributes, the product materials that you get from a manufacturer, the dimensions of the product, this comes in this color, it's made with this material, blah, blah, blah. Are those things emotional, yes or no? No. So it's easy when something is devoid of emotion, right? So what's the opposite of dry facts in a product sheet? The opposite is hearing about people that are using the product and benefiting from the product and improving their lives in some way with the product, or improving a marriage, or a self-image, or improving their finances, or saving time using the product, right? So if facts and features are not emotional per se, then would you agree that telling a quick story about this amazing impact and result a person had using the product is emotional? So put another way, what is the easiest way to make a product feature emotional? Here's the answer. Tell a short story about a real person using it and how it's changed their life, what it's done for them. Now, how do we use this in the real world to bring our Amazon products to life? So that's another way to look at how to make something more emotional, bringing an Amazon product to life in the consumer's mind. So you go from dry, boring facts, name, rank, and serial number, to bringing that product to life. Another way to view it is, how do we dimensionalize that product? How do we bring it into 3D view in their mind? Not just with facts and features, but picture them using it and improving some facet of their life, depending on what the product is. All right. So here is the formula for writing emotional Amazon copy. Now, this is just a broad stroke formula to get you kind of spitting out bullet points and product attribute lines of copy that fit this mold. But just stick with me. Hold any objections for right now, please. Write this down. This feature helped Ted to blank. So this feature helped Ted to, and he tell a quick story about how he used it and what it did for him. All right. So, for example, if I were selling a foam pillow, by the way, the reason I'm using this example of a foam pillow, I remember when I went to Yiwu in China, they had this foam mattress, foam pillow mattress, this entire giant wing of a building just with these type of products. I'll never forget it, right? And some of you probably remember that. You walk into it, you're like, what the bleep? It's amazing. Here's how I might use this. The Theta Extreme foam sleep pillow helped Ted R to get, quote, the deepest sleep of my life. I've never felt more refreshed and productive at work in a decade. So I'm just using a super simple example so you get this, right? So here's the formula. This blank helped this person to, and they tell a quick story. And it's really easy if you think in terms of, hey, let me just tell a quick story about this product. You know, like if I said, hey, tell me a quick story about your awesome brand new dog leash, right? Oh, our new yada yada foam handle helped Mary R finally have a super enjoyable time every single time she walks her dog, and the hands, you know, whatever, right? It just kind of spits out of you if you tell it in the form of a story. I'm not saying you're gonna literally tell a story like this, although you could, okay? So what if you don't have any like reviews, right? So in this example back here, you're kind of extracting this emotional storytelling bullet from one of your product reviews. But if you don't have a product review, you use the exact same formula, you just remove the specific person, but it's still the same mental exercise. So it would sound like this. The Theta Extreme foam sleep pillow is guaranteed to give you the deepest sleep of your life or your money back. You will feel refreshed and more productive at work thanks to our amazing revolutionary Theta Wave foam technology. And as you can see, I took, you know, as they say, literary license to just whip this out of my rear end, but I wanted to give you kind of an example of how I would name something unique sounding for the product. Okay, so how to use emotional copy formula. What you're gonna do is, okay, you're gonna make or build a fact sheet or a list of features. So this is the analytical thing. You just list one after the other. So I call it a fact sheet, just boom, 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 right down the page. But then next to each feature, you're gonna tell or write or imagine or make up a short story about a real person using it and what it's done for them, okay? And for ideas, and look, this can be either an imagined person like in my last example, or from an actual product review if this is a product that you've been selling a long time. And for ideas and examples, you can find loads of emotional short stories by studying the competitors' positive reviews. Now, I know a lot of you, when you're constructing a listing for a new product or niche you know nothing about, we all tend to look at the reviews, which is very, very smart. But I bet you've never thought about hunting for the emotional story attributes within those reviews. And this is how you do it. Okay, so here's my promise to you. If you did this for every feature or ingredient or main material used in that product, you know, all these different product attributes, your copy would come alive. It would be more emotional, more impactful to that croc brain. You'd instantly attract more impulse buyers. You would incite far fewer of those analytical buyers that have a much slower, more skeptical mind. If you trigger that part, you don't want to trigger that part. You want the impulsive mind, and you would immediately stand out from your listing. So I would just say, if there's nothing else you get out of this, take your current listing and amp up the emotions by 10 times. Okay, go to the extreme. Go the extreme with the emotions. Okay. Now, let me give you some other emotional copywriting formulas. You know, there's nothing more powerful than scarcity and urgency combined. And so let's talk about this. This is definitely one emotion that you want to inject in most of your Amazon listings. So, you know, urgency and scarcity are two of the most powerful emotions. But here's the thing. If you try to use scarcity in the past and it didn't really move the needle, here's why. It's because urgency and scarcity only become effective after somebody is emotionally invested in your product. Does that make sense? So if a girl finds out that I'm about to get married, but the girl's never had a crush on me and doesn't even like me, is that scarcity very effective on her? No, she could care less if I'm getting married. she never liked me. But if a girl had a crush on me for the last 2 years, and then all of a sudden hears that this Saturday at noon at St. Sebastian's Church, I'm about to get married. Now that scarcity and urgency is very emotional, and that's going to move the needle. So what I'm saying is, when you use emotional copy in your bullets and images, and it passes those 3 check boxes for the croc brain, and then you tack on scarcity and urgency, that's when it works. That's when it moves the needle. But if you just try tossing in scarcity as a throwaway at the bottom of a listing that's all analytical, it's like, it'll just have zero effect. Does that make sense? So here's just an example of some scarcity and urgency you could use in an Amazon listing. You know, this is a limited edition run of our breakthrough yada yada product, and supplies will run out. Grab yours today from Amazon.com exclusively. But then they might not believe it. I know, but it is just enough of a prod, of a push, when they are already excitable for that croc brain, that it will benefit that listing. You know, it's hard to say by what percent. I don't think it benefits it. You know, it won't take a 8% conversion rate and just by adding urgency and scarcity bump it to 25%. But taken in totality, when you start amping up the emotion, when you start weaving in these stories or coming up with these list of emotions based on how somebody's life was improved and benefited, the emotions evolved, and you're keeping it focused and simple and unique, and you're activating the croc brain left and right, and then you add in some urgency and scarcity, in totality, it has a profound impact. Does that make sense? Okay. Now here's a bonus idea that I just want to end with here, and I'm definitely running over time. We're almost an hour and a half in, but there's a secret backdoor way to uncover some of the most influential benefits and hidden reasons why people want to buy your product. Okay, would you like to know what those are? The hidden reasons why people might want to buy your product? And if you could amplify those using some of these emotional techniques I've taught you. So this is an idea that was inspired by Ryan Levesque. He wrote a book called The Ask Method. I was in his mastermind group for years. We became friends. I spoke at several of his events. I got to know him really well. He's a great thinker on kind of using a survey approach and using the language of the market to improve copy. And in my case, I adapted it to improving massively our listings. You know, once you go live with a listing, you really want to look at those new reviews coming in and start to feed back and tweak your listing based on the actual language that your buyers are using, okay? And there's many examples of this out there, but one of the things that he was discussing was the 3-star reviews on Amazon, okay? So the major underlying concept that Ryan Levesque came up with in the Ask Method is getting feedback from the hyper-responsive to learn the language of the market and then start revising your copy using their emotional language, their emotional appeals, et cetera, okay? But what most sellers do is they focus on either the 5-star reviews or the 1-star reviews, but there is solid gold in those 3-star reviews. And this is, and why is there solid gold in those 3-star reviews? This is because these are reviews that people posted where they didn't love the product, but they didn't hate the product, but they just wish it had blank. You know, that's why they're posting a 3-star review. They didn't love it, they didn't hate it, but God, I wish it had blank. You know, that one extra feature to improve the product, okay? So, and isn't that a brilliant insight that Ryan had? Because when somebody leaves you a 3-star review, they will almost always in that review tell you why they didn't make it 5 stars. And these are hidden gems. These hidden gems can help you identify some incredible product improvements, enhancements to identify a market gap, you know, or a emotional copy gap that exists right now in the market, right? Because they're posting it, they're agitated enough to log in to their Amazon account and tell you, wow, I would have made this 5 stars if it only did blank. So not only will this leave you with a better product, but you'll also have an inherently unique sounding product, different, better, yada, 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 amplified with emotional copy than the competition that is, again, side to side, top to bottom, surrounded by you in the closed ecosystem that is Amazon. All right. Now, here's what's interesting. Ryan points out that there are 2 different types of customer feedback, what he calls point of entry. What are point of entry? Point of entry, these are the must-haves and the must-not-haves. So, for example, you cannot sell a dog leash if your product does not have a handle for the owner to hold on to. Now, the second type of feedback is point of difference. What is point of difference? These are specific qualities of a product that distinguish it from the competition. So let me give you an example. Like, of course, your dog leash has a handle, but is it comfortable to hold? Does it break easily from the slightest tug from a large dog, etc.? So that's the difference between point of entry, like, hey, this product has to have this, like at a bare minimum, but now what are the points of difference, okay? And here's the insight. The 5-star and the 1-star reviews, their focus is on the point of entry. It had this, I liked it, or it didn't have this, I only gave it 1 star, okay? But the 3-star reviews, this is where you're gonna find the point of difference that is lacking in that product. This can help you identify exactly what you need to accentuate or add to your product description, or even like a new attribute to add to your product and to possibly get a design patent on, okay? So one final bonus idea. This is all related to emotional direct response copy that'll get you a 25%, over 25% response rate if you just keep working these angles like I'm teaching you. It's this understanding, and you really have to take this seriously. The typical consumer, they're looking for reasons not to do something. Okay, so what is a reason that someone might have for not buying your product? You know, if you can identify most of those reasons and address them emotionally, you can absolutely crush it. You can destroy it out there. Where do you find these reasons why someone won't buy? I'll tell you, they're hiding in plain sight. It's all of those pre-purchase questions you can find in the Q&A stack of most listings, certainly the top 10 listings of your competitors. Does this product have blank? Well, if you see that repeatedly posted on 7 of the top 10 ranked listings, guess what you need to put and amplify it by 10x with emotion into your listing? Yes, because people are looking for reasons not to do something. I know it sounds weird, but that's how people think. So how to be successful with emotional direct response listing writing. And let me just sum it up. Good enough is good enough. When I teach something like this, we're dealing with concepts. Concepts can freak people out and get you guys stuck in the mud. We're never moving off the starting block because you're pursuing some point of perfection that doesn't exist in this realm, okay? The best copy is the copy that was good enough that you got out into the marketplace and got feedback on as quickly and urgently as possible. So you guys just have to trust me on this. I've seen a lot of brilliant copywriters. There's one I know that I'm not going to mention this person's name because he's passed away, and I consider him one of my biggest mentors, but he could not, he would suffer through feast and famine throughout his life because he was pursuing this level of perfection that did not exist. It's far better, and what's so great about what we're doing is we can get instant market feedback. And the most successful copywriters, now I contrast him with this guy, Peter, who is right now probably the world's most successful copywriter. And if you look at his copy, it's not bad. But the reason why he is so successful is because he realized that he was watching other copywriters that would take 6 months to write one ad or one sales copy. And then it might work, it might not work. So you had 2 at-bats in a year by trying to make it so perfect. And his goal was 1 a month. So in the same space where you're writing really hard, like VSLs and long form sales letters and like infomercials, he was doing literally 12 per year versus the average of 2 per year. And that's why he is more successful. So the reason I say this is I want to gently kick you in the butt and say speed and volume is going to get you much farther, much faster than slow, plodding, and perfect when it comes to writing copy for Amazon listings. Listen, it's all about getting that market feedback as soon as possible. Just see how the marketplace is resonating with your listing. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? So you have a bad month. Trust me, if you keep tweaking it, you can turn a bad month into life-altering, life-changing income on Amazon if you keep tweaking your listing and you nail this. It's about taking a loser and turning it into a home run winner that can literally build you a mansion. Not, you know, Amazon is such a huge volume of recurring traffic that it can literally buy you a mansion, okay? What is the best way to tell how the marketplace is resonating with your listing? Run some traffic to your tweaked listing using sponsored ads, right? That'll put some eyeballs on it quick and see what the new conversion rate is. If the conversion rate's higher, guess what? The new copy approach is working. If it tanked, guess what? The new copy is not working. Pretty simple. I'm a simple guy. Caveman approach. What you're not looking, though, to do is become the world's most creative, the person with the most unique big ideas or hooks. I started this whole teaching segment showing you a picture of Max Martin, right? The guy behind Britney Spears, Taylor Swift, Maroon 5, etc., Katy Perry. He is so formulaic that other, quote, genius creative artists, they mock him. And guess what? He's got a big ass mansion and is set for life, and they aren't. They're the most creative you can ever imagine, and they're playing for $5 on a street corner, begging for scraps. So do not, and I'm accentuating the the lion and rabbit to you guys, because I want you to get off the starting block and test this, not be afraid to test these things, okay? And you can do it almost risk-free with a split testing software like Splitly, okay? But you're not looking to become the most creative genius type artist in history. You're just looking to put up those numbers. That's it, all right? All right, so we're gonna hop to our next segment here, which is one of our most popular segments. This is with Traian Turku. As you know, after I teach the bulk of these webinars, see most training webinars, an hour and a half in, like that's it. So look at these speakers I bring on as just pure bonus, because out there in the real world of training, after a kick-ass segment like this, I'd say, okay, guys, have a wonderful day. So when I bring on guest speakers, that's just frosting on the cake. That's just bonus for you guys. And I really hope you guys give these guest speakers credit, because they spent a lot of time preparing for this. They don't have to do this for you guys. All three of these guys are rich. They don't have to do it. And they continue to do it as a favor to me, which we really appreciate. So with that, let me present Traian Turku to you. Sit back, relax, and you're gonna love his segment. He's gonna be talking about some ranking stuff that I think you're really gonna like.
Hey, my name is Traian Turku, and today I want to share with you a strategy that I'm using whenever I want to shortcut the ranking process. So one of the newest opportunities when it comes to getting ranked for a keyword is to completely shortcut the entire process and get to the top of the page through one of the new sections that Amazon is now featuring in the search results. So to give you an example, if I search for light bulbs, one of the sections that now appears in the search results, but quite close to the top of the page, is editorial recommendations. Now, what you might think initially is, and what I thought initially is that there's this is just something annoying that basically pushes down all the other results down the page. And because of these extra sections, you can now be, let's say, ranked number 4, and instead of showing above the fold, you now show closer to the middle of the page, because your basically a couple of line of search results are now being replaced with editorial recommendations. And this would be an issue if editorial recommendations were perfect. So in a perfect world, Amazon is only accepting really ethical websites to create editorial recommendations, and the websites do not accept any kind of advertising, any kind of paid reviews. So there's no way to influence these editors or websites to feature your product in here. And if you search for most keywords, you will find that that's actually true. And from a customer point of view, I think that's very encouraging. So for example, here we have an editorial recommendation for the best light bulbs from Mom Loves Best. If I click on read full article, I can see the full article. But more importantly, if I go to their profile, they have a website, a link in their about page. They also have a Facebook page. I'm not going to go to their Facebook page now, but I'm going to go to their website. So going to their website, you can read about who they are and who the editorial team is. But the part that I found most interesting is going to contact us. One of the things they make really clear is when you go to sponsorship and partnerships, are you looking for a partnership or sponsorship or the opportunity? Please know that Mom Loves Best does not accept payment, sponsorship, or any kind of compensation in return for reviews, links, or promotion on our website. And this is what you would expect from any reputable website, and you would hope, again, from a customer point of view, that all the websites that feature these editorial recommendations in the search results have the same kind of ethics. At the same time, even with this example here, it says, however, if you still think you have a product or piece of information that would benefit our readers, you can still contact them. So I would guess that if you have a really great product with really nice reviews, you can always contact them. However, there's no opportunity for you as a seller to basically just pay them so they feature you in an article. To give you another example, if you go to reviewed.com, which is another website that features quite a lot of editorial recommendations on Amazon, they actually have a link. Let's see if I can find it, ethics. And their ethics are even stronger than the ones that we've seen on momlovesbest.com. They explicitly explain that they don't accept any kind of gifts, bribes, monetary compensation, trips, prizes, nothing from any brand that is currently being featured in one of their articles, or any brand that will be featured in an article. So, and again, if you search for a lot of keywords, you will find websites like this, like review.com or bgr.com or bestreviews.com. That's another one. Let's see if this is, oops, I'm not sure if this is the right link. Yeah, this is the one. So if you click on contact, or maybe is it, might be about, they explain that they conduct independent testing, and they have really strong ethics. Anyway, so that's what you're going to see for most keywords. That's what you would expect, again, as a customer from most search results that you're seeing. However, if you don't stop here and you keep exploring and you keep searching for keywords, you will start to find some more interesting websites that, before I continue, maybe, I just want to make it clear that it's very possible that all these websites are very ethical, and if you have a really bad product, they won't accept to do any kind of editorial recommendation featuring your product. I think ultimately they want to maintain this relationship that they've created with Amazon. So if you have a bad product, I think in the first place you shouldn't try to get an editorial recommendation for your product. However, if you have a great product, high quality, high rating, and your customers mention in the reviews that the product is great, I think you should give this strategy a try. So just to give you a few examples here, just to show you what's possible, if we search for example, Bluetooth headphones, the editorial recommendations are from Metris Advisor. So immediately for me, that's kind of a red flag, or I'm not sure exactly how to call it, but why would a website that's dedicated to reviewing or advising on mattress purchases, why would they do an editorial recommendation article on Bluetooth headphones? And clearly Bluetooth headphones is one of the most popular keywords out there. You can get, if you are this website Metris Advisor and you do such an editorial recommendation, I expect they're making quite a lot of money just from, because they do those through the associates program, so they earn a small commission every time someone buys one of these products that they're recommending. And I expect that Metris Advisor, it's a small sign here. I don't know anything about them, so I don't want to make any claims here. But for me personally, that's kind of a sign that, maybe they're more flexible in terms of what they would accept, just because, they're not just focusing on matrices, and, they're already diverting from what they should do by doing a review for Bluetooth headphones, just because they probably know that they can make a lot of money by reviewing Bluetooth headphones. So what's interesting is that if you go to their profile, You will find their website and again some social media presence. But if you go to their website and you go to contact us, they actually don't mention anything about, not taking payment or gifts or bribes or anything like that. And they actually have some email addresses here for reviews, for editorials, so you can actually get in touch directly with the editorial team and see if there's a possibility for them to do an advertorial for you, so basically feature your product in one of their future articles. That being said, this is not the most, from all the examples I'm going to show you, this is probably still one of the cleanest ones, where they don't actually mention the word advertise. But still, again, the reason I mention it here is because, the website is Mattress Advisor. All their articles are supposedly only about mattresses, but yet they were willing to do an editorial recommendation on Bluetooth headphones. Okay, let's go to another example. 20-gallon tank. I guess this is mostly for the pet category. So that's why the editorial recommendation here is from My Pet Needs That. And once again, if we click on their profile, we don't find a website. I could just give you the link directly, but I just want to show you how I'm usually doing this kind of research to identify websites like this. So just the fact that just because they don't have the website here, you could go on their social media website. So for example, on facebook.com, and they do have the link there. And actually in their case, staring in my face here, I just realized, there's the link in the image. But for whatever reason, they didn't have the URL of their website in the About section. So going to their website, once again, what I usually do is, ideally, I want to find a page saying advertise. They don't have one, but they do have contact us. And if I go to contact us, you have their email. There's a form here, and they do mention we also welcome inquiries for advertising, product reviews, and editorial placements on the site. And this is, what you really want to see, not just advertising, which might be limited to banners, editorial placements. That's exactly what you want. You want them when they write a future article, doing a review on, let's say, best dog leashes. If you have a dog leash, an editorial placement would be exactly that. Them taking your dog leash and featuring it in that article, and that would lead to your dog leash being featured at the top of the search results for the keyword dog leash, assuming that they do a good job with their article and Amazon picks it up. But there's plenty of keywords where Amazon doesn't have any articles to choose from at the moment. So maybe, dog leash is a bit too competitive, but almost all of the long tail keywords related to dog leash, if they do an article on one of those long tail keywords and you purchase an editorial recommendation from them, you're almost guaranteed to basically buy your spot at the top of the search results. So this part is super exciting for me whenever I see editorial placements being mentioned in the Contact Us page. I'm just going to, I have a lot of examples here, but I think, I don't want to bore you with all of them. So what I'll do is I'm going to jump over to another one that I found really interesting, and that is, let's see if I can quickly find it. If we search for neck pillow, the website featuring an editorial recommendation here is Simplemost. So let's once again go through the same process. I'm going to click on Simplemost. We can find their website under the About section, clicking on the link that takes me to their website, and scrolling all the way to the bottom of the website, I can see a section called Advertise right next to Contact Us. And in this case, I just get their email address, However, what's interesting is on the contact us page, where they once again they have that link, that email address. But the part that I really like is becoming a writer for us and story ideas. So this for me is again another amazing opportunity. A lot of these websites, basically they just make money by creating a lot of content. In each article, in each piece of content, they feature some products. They either get traffic from Google to their website, or in the case of most of these websites, they are simply being featured in the search results on Amazon. And as a result, they make money as, in form of commissions from Amazon associates. So what's the biggest problem that these websites encounter? Well, it's content. They need a lot of content. The more content they can pump out, the more money they're going to make. So a lot of these websites actually accept freelance writers or anyone who contacts them who is a decent writer. They allow writers to send articles over. Usually they pay very small fees, or either it's an upfront payment or a percentage of that commission is being paid to the writer. If you are a writer, you're not going to make any you're not going to make good money, or you're not going to earn a decent living from doing this. However, let's just click on go here for more information, right? So becoming a writer. So if you wanted, you could contact them, and let's see what they require. So you just have to send an email at contribute@simplemost.com with your resume, a paragraph about yourself, 2 writing samples, published clips preferred, and any story ideas you may have. If you already have a story, feel free to send it our way, and we'll be happy to review and see if it's a good fit for SimpleMost. So we already know what kind of writing samples they probably want. If you can do a couple of articles reviewing some products on Amazon, they will probably like that. Do you need to do this yourself? Well, maybe you hire, for example, a freelancer on Upwork, a freelance writer, and as part of hiring them, you basically do a contract with them where they write for SimpleMost, and maybe they end up writing for SimpleMost, but you can give them ideas what to write about and what products to feature. Of course, you have to be careful here, so you don't break any laws and you still maintain your ethics. But I just wanted to point out that a lot of these websites do have both of these sections. They have I guess this is a contribute section where you can actually apply to be a writer and do reviews for them, and get paid very little money. But the advantage is you can actually control the content that is being published, or you can become an advertiser and basically pay to be featured on their website, and maybe as a result also in the articles that get featured on Amazon. And the ideal scenario is that of editorial placements. Something I wanted to mention is that you can go on Google and you can actually search for editorial, if I can spell editorial placements, between quotes. And for example, here I get 21,000 results, and not all of them are going to be relevant. You can then add plus Amazon, or that's actually a bit too restrictive, but something like Amazon Associates, and I still have over 1,000 results. So for example, here we have businesscheckdeals.com. Well, their link unfortunately doesn't work, but you can see here just from the description, I'm not going to keep clicking on these, that they are a participant in Amazon Associates, and they accept inquiries about advertising, product reviews, and editorial placements. Now, of course, not all these 1,000 websites will be part of on-site Amazon Associates, so on-site associates program, which is what we want. So, for this reason, I think you're better off just searching for random keywords and then inspecting those websites and creating a list of such websites that might accept advertising or editorial placements. But again, I just wanted to mention that you also have this alternative to start the other way around, going from Google, searching for websites that accept editorial placements and monetize their content through Amazon Associates, and figure out if they're also part of the on-site associates program. Now, before I end this video, I just want to give you just a few more examples in case you're feeling stuck and you can't find enough of these websites. I'm just going to give you about 5 more examples. If you search for natural bubble bath, the result is Yoga Journal, and you will see Yoga Journal being featured for a lot of beauty related products. So just quickly go into their profile. We can find their website, and scrolling down I should be able to find a link that says advertise. And they actually, this one's a bit weird because they have here where it says download the media kit to see how you can advertise. There's an issue, but you can right click inspect, and if I go to here, you can see that there's a link hub.yogajournal.com/media kit. So if I just copy that link, I can find the form where I can receive the media kit, and I actually completed this form just to confirm for you, and I received an email right away. So if you, as long as you give a valid email address here, you are going to receive their media kit. Okay, 4 more examples I have. If you search for yoga mat, so now moving, I guess, to the sports category, you're going to find Techno Buffalo. And Techno Buffalo, just to save some time here, I'm just going to copy paste the direct link here, technobuffalo.com/advertise. What's interesting is that this link is actually not present on the website, so you cannot find advertise anywhere on the website. So I just manually tested out some links like contact us and contact, and when I searched for advertise, I was actually able to find this link. So for a lot of websites, if they don't have a direct link to advertise or contact, just try it out manually. So go to their homepage and then put /advertise. You might get lucky and find a link like this one. Another website would be, for example, if you search for makeup remover, you will find an editorial recommendation from PureWow. And for a lot of makeup and cosmetic related stuff, PureWow has an advertising program. If you search for neck pillow for airplane travel, you will find The Drive, which again, strangely, it's mainly about, I think, cars, but they do a lot of reviews of things that have nothing to do with cars. And they have a contact us link here, which is an email, feedback@thedrive.com. If you search for tool chest, you will find another website, and I'm just going to type out the email address here. It's bizdev@pmc.com. Let's see, just a couple more. If you search for men's flip-flops, you are going to find footwear news, which in this case, this is relevant, flip-flops and footwear, but footwear news also does a lot of editorial recommendations for things that have nothing to do with feet or shoes or fashion. And yeah, this is their advertise page. And you have a media kit again, and you can actually see some prices of how much it costs to be featured. And the last website I want to show you is, if you search, for example, for overhead storage, you are going to find a website called Outdoor Life, which does again a lot of reviews for anything related to gardening, outdoors, sports, pets, and this is their link to contact them for editorial requirements. outdoorlife.com/contact us. So I hope you found this useful. I know I've shown you a bunch of different websites. Hopefully you understand the potential here, that while there's a lot of editorial recommendations from websites that have a high ethical standard and they don't accept any kind of payment, advertising, prizes, or any kind of financial compensation to be featured on their website and ultimately on Amazon at the top of the search results, there are websites out there that not only accept payments and advertising, but they even accept editorial placements, which is what you ultimately want. And there are even websites that accept contributions. So either you or someone you hire can actually sign up as a writer for these websites and contribute actual content, actual recommendations, and you can control the content. You can find such websites by either being patient and just searching for random keywords and checking out the profile of these websites, and I recommend you build a spreadsheet so you keep track of everything you find, or a simple shortcut, or maybe it's not a shortcut, but an alternative way is to search on Google for editorial placements, Amazon Associates. Again, I hope you found this useful. This is just a simple shortcut to get to the top of some of the search results out there. I'm not sure how long this will last. I think long-term Amazon wants to make sure that these websites are ethical, but at the moment I think they don't have enough such websites that are willing to contribute content, and I think they've gone, a bit wide and accepted some websites that maybe they shouldn't have. So if you want to take advantage of that, I think now is the time, while these kind of editorial recommendations can still be found. Thanks for watching, and once again, I hope you found this useful.
All right. Always love trying. He just finds so many cool little tweaks and hacks and ways to nibble around the edges that are so unique. And I'm always so impressed. I kind of scratch my head wondering, how did he even stumble into this? So he's certainly a great thinker when it comes to this business. And I just want to give you an announcement here. We're going to end with Manuel Suarez. And even if you're not really that aggressive with Facebook traffic and using things like Messenger and ManyChat, you definitely want to pay attention to his segment, because I'm not sure if you heard, but Facebook is making some changes to that will impact Messenger and ManyChat, and he's going to walk you through exactly what those changes are. Next month, we will return to Michael Zagare. I know he's also extremely popular, but Manuel's segment is a little longer this month, so that's just how we're going to do things as far as the webinar schedule. So sit back, relax, make sure that you pay attention to what Manuel's talking about. Even if you don't have an active Facebook campaign right now and or Messenger like ManyChat setup, this is information that you'll definitely want to understand and know what's going on, okay?
All right, guys, so we are back here for another Amazon Pro Traffic series. So super happy to be here again. Ben, thank you for having me. Have a great training for you guys today. It's February. I hope that you guys are doing great so far in 2020. We have a great training today because we're going to talk about the ManyChat updates and what you need to get ready as an Amazon seller and as an e-commerce expert to be able to leverage the opportunity that it's ManyChat today, Messenger, SMS, and email, and this whole world of omni-channel that I'm trying to pay attention to right now. Again, I've been talking about this for a while, but if you haven't jumped on the train yet and you're not riding it, well, it's not too late. I can tell you that most people don't even understand how to utilize it. And while most are complaining about the changes, I am taking advantage of it and riding the wave like never before. Some very exciting things happening in that world, especially for Amazon sellers to leverage the platform to get more attention for your brand, get more ranking, generate reviews, and overall build a massive list of engaged people that you can keep on nurturing and activating and keeping people looking at your brand. That's what it's all about, attention. So we're going to cover the Messenger updates that are going to be launched in a few days, actually. We're looking at some major updates that if you haven't prepared yourself for them, you better pay attention. You might have to rewatch this segment right here, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible for you. If you are doing ManyChat somehow, you're going to have to pay attention. If you are just getting started, you still have to pay attention. If you haven't done ManyChat at all and you want to get started with it, well, I'm going to show you how the whole ManyChat platform works right now and why it's important for you to actually be a part of this particular platform right now that is becoming more and more a CRM, right? It's a customer relations management platform. You can actually have conversations on text, on email, on Messenger, all from within the same platform, and they're getting better and better. So it's a great opportunity for you to pay attention to and jump all over it right now. So if you haven't heard, Messenger is changing in a big way. Facebook is trying as much as they possibly can to avoid becoming the next email platform. They don't want to be spam. They want to make sure that people stay interested in the platform and they are consuming the content in it and they're seeing the ads and they're engaging with friends and family on Messenger, and they don't want to turn it into a platform for businesses to take advantage of it and just try to destroy it, right? Just like they did email, like us marketers have actually made email into a place where we just don't open it as much as we used to, right? So still valuable, but it's lost a little bit of its power over the years because of the spam factor. So if you guys are a bit familiar with ManyChat already, well, you know that there's a few main changes that are happening. For example, the 24-hour rule. This is something that's going to be enforced strictly right now. If you have a user that interacted with you in the last 24 hours, you are free and clear to communicate with this user as much as you want to. If they haven't interacted with you, you're not. And then there has to be some tagging applied to your messages, or else they're not going to be delivered. Your sequences are going to fall off. Your flows are not going to be sent out. None of that stuff is going to happen if you don't have the tags in place. So what do we have? Standard messaging changes, message tags, and sponsored messages. We're going to cover that today. Now, usually my segments are about 20 minutes in length here with Ben, with you guys, the fast trackers. But today is probably going to be a little bit longer just because of the importance of this particular subject. I'm hoping that you guys are okay with that today. It shouldn't be much more longer than that. So let's talk about standard messaging first. Businesses and pages, as you guys know, will have up to 24 hours to respond to a user. So if a user is actually sending messages, well, you are good. You can continue communicating with them. If they are not communicating with you, you don't have a right anymore to communicate to them via Messenger unless they apply to a select few tags that I'm going to talk about with you guys today. So we know that customers expect the business to respond to questions or queries, and the faster you engage with them, the better the outcome is. But you got to keep in mind that on Messenger, it's not like email. Unlike email, you're going to have to communicate with them at a very fast pace. So today, up until March 4th, you will still be able to use the +1 message. If you haven't heard about this, well, you have the ability to bring a subscriber in, send as many messages as you want, 24 hours. After 24 hours, you still have permission up to March 4th to send what they call a follow-up message. And that could be promotional, that could be on any material. But after March 4th, that goes away, it's gone. So this is going to be replaced with what we're going to talk about today. This update aligns with what the customer wanted and what businesses or pages should have done. Messages sent within the 24-hour window may contain promotional content. So if you got that 24-hour window, you are more than absolutely 100% compliant if you send promotional messages, invitations to buy your products and provide their information, and anything that you want to send, it's absolutely okay. So here are examples of the user interactions that open the 24-hour standard messaging window. So user sends a message to the page, boom. User clicks a call to action button like get started within a Messenger conversation, 24-hour window. User clicks on a click to Messenger ad and then starts a conversation with the page. User starts a conversation with a page via a plugin, such as a send to Messenger plugin that you have seen on some websites, or the checkbox plugin that if you insert it with the code on a website, like in a ClickFunnels page or on a Shopify website, an e-commerce platform, then this is also going to have that 24-hour window start at that point. User clicks on an m.me link with a ref parameter on an existing thread. This is an important point that that people are underutilizing, because when you use an m.me link, a lot of you guys know how to use those. Inside ManyChat is something called a ref URL. It's a growth tool. You can actually publish them and use them on YouTube, on email, on social, on anywhere you want, on a QR code, for example. And whenever somebody scans that QR code, whenever somebody clicks on that link, it's a 24-hour window just by them clicking on it. All right, so that's an important one to keep in mind, which opens up your ability to promote to these people, which again is very powerful, because still today, I can tell you something, I can guarantee you this, Messenger is way more friendly than SMS or email. You cannot do anywhere else the things that you can do from inside Messenger. Delivery of resources, delivery of coupons, interactions, mini courses, training, all that stuff that you can do inside Messenger, and the user friendliness is actually quite unique to the Messenger platform. So bringing them in has enormous value because people have a better user experience using the platform, and it has very high open rates, way higher than email. So user posts or comments on a page, if somebody comments on a page and they actually get a response on Messenger, that also is going to be a 24-hour window. Or user reacts to a message. If they like a message, if they somehow react to a message, that by itself is also going to trigger that 24-hour window. So message tags, that's the other important change, which we will cover. This will enable businesses or pages to send important. Again, you might be saying to yourself right now, well, Manuel, all my messages are important because I'm trying to sell my products. That's not important for them. And they have to keep in mind the user experience. So because of that, it's actually important messages. And I'm going to explain that in a second. And personally relevant updates outside the 24-hour standard message window. So businesses or pages can start using the 4 message tags right away. There used to be 17 tags. I don't know if you were doing ManyChat before or are doing it, but it was so confusing. You didn't even know which one to use and which one to not use. Well, starting March 4th, it's going to be 4 tags, and that's it. And one of them is actually still in beta, so we don't know if that's going to stick around, but it's 4 tags and no more. And you're going to find out what are your use cases, and if any of your messages apply to that tag, which allows you to send that message out, or what's going to be your next best case if you don't have a message tag that applies. Use of tags outside of approved use cases may result in restrictions on your ability to send messages. They may shut down your messenger. They may shut it down without asking you questions. You know how these platforms work. You guys are Amazon sellers. You know that these machines, the Amazon, the Facebooks, the Googles, they act and they ask questions later, or they act and they don't ask any questions. Nobody cares about your business like you do, right? In the end, no matter if you're doing, oh my God, I'm doing $10 million a month, I'm making a lot of money for them. Nobody cares, right? That's a reality. Like these guys are, I guess at this point, I can tell you that they are trillion-dollar corporations. I know Amazon is, I know Google is, I know Facebook is getting there very soon, $750 billion organization at this point. So you got to keep in mind that they will shut you down without thinking about it or losing any sleep over it. So you got to keep these things in mind. So these are the 4 tags that we have available: confirmed event update, post-purchase update, account update, and a human agent, which is the one that's in beta right now. I'm going to give you guys examples of each one and what could each one apply to, but these are the general descriptions that are available inside ManyChat, so you guys know what are generally these tags used for. Like notify the user of an update on a recent purchase. If it's account update, notify the user of a non-recurring change to their application or account, etc. Right? Confirm the event update. I'm going to give you guys examples of that. But for example, that's great for webinars or purchase tickets or purchase event or something like that, right? Or even a free event. I try to get away with, like, for example, if somebody says they want to be notified on Facebook Live events, I actually use that one so I can send that message out. Sponsor messages is the third part of what we're talking about today. sponsored messages allow businesses to re-engage with people who have an open conversation with their page in Messenger. Now, what does it mean, open conversation? It means everybody. And that's the thing that it might be misduplicated, because in reality, if somebody has sent you a message, whether that was yesterday or 17 years ago, which it wouldn't have happened because Facebook didn't exist then, right? But if they did send you a message a long time ago, you, guess what, still have the ability to market to them inside Messenger or on social. And that's what people don't even understand yet. These subscribers can be re-engaged through social media again by doing a paid advertising campaign. And you guys are becoming also paid advertising ninjas yourselves. So you can have an audience of people that message your page and do a sponsored message and get them back into Messenger, even if they haven't interacted with you in 7 months or whatever. So they can be sent outside the 24-hour standard messaging window and can include both promotional and non-promotional content. This also allows you to send highly targeted promotions directly to the people who have communicated with your business in Messenger. Sponsored messages may be sent outside the 24-hour standard messaging window and will be labeled sponsored in the chat. Okay, so why are these changes happening? Well, Facebook is using tags to protect. I told you a little bit about this. They're trying to protect Messenger users from getting spam messages coming from irresponsible businesses or marketers. I know, right? A lot of us are trying to grow a business and we believe that our products help people. So do we think we're responsible? No, we believe we're trying to help people with our products and services. But still, marketers can tend to affect platforms like this, take advantage of them too much, and eventually ruin them. So less spam is going to keep users on the platform, increase conversion rates, create a healthier ecosystem for responsible businesses, which will help you generate better results, and so on and so on. So here's a little message directly from Zev Rosenstein, who's the head of people to business messaging on Messenger. And he says, a Messenger want to help people and businesses connect in meaningful ways. We remain committed to helping businesses continue to grow and thrive on our platform. That's why we are making updates to our platform to improve the user experience for people and to help businesses drive more effective outcomes on Messenger. ManyChat has been a valuable partner in business messaging, and we look forward to growing our partnership with them. So there you have it. They're trying to keep the platform safe. Now, I have been a Facebook obsessed individual for many, many years. Ben knows that we go way back for with me actually originally getting some basic training on Facebook way back when with Ben many, many, many years ago, and before anybody even knew what Facebook ads meant. And generally, they have been more often right than wrong. And I want to trust them that all these changes are being done because they want to make businesses, they want to increase the ability of businesses to generate business with the power of Messenger. All right. So again, I have been proven right by trusting them along the way. So I want to continue doing that because it has been successful so far. So how do we get prepared for all these changes? So 3 main things that we need to get ready. Step 1, prepare existing flows. So if you have existing flows, you're going to have to update them because otherwise they're not going to get delivered unless you get them updated with the proper tags or the other things that I'm going to show you in the rest of this webinar today on this section. Step 2, get phone numbers, email addresses, and consent. If you're not taking advantage of the opportunity, if you're not taking phone numbers and emails aggressively, you're missing out on the 2020 omni-channel opportunity. Step 3, get familiar and implement the omni-channel. All right, so I'm going to briefly cover that. We're going to prepare existing flows. The first step is to go through all the existing flows and tag messages that may be sent beyond the 24-hour window. There are currently 3 main tags that you can use. These are confirm event update, post-purchase, and account update. Again, like I said, the live agent tag is currently in beta. If a message doesn't fit any tag, you're going to have to replace that message with an SMS or email step instead. So for example, you might be asking yourself, what message doesn't fit that tag? Well, if you're sending a promotion, it doesn't. If you're sending a mini course, for example, it doesn't. If you're sending a resource, it doesn't. A lot of your flows will not be delivered after March 4th. Tagging messages is super easy. Just click on the messages in Flow Builder and choose from the drop-down menu. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how simple this process is, and you will see for yourself. Look at this. There's a little video that we recorded for you. You open up the message, you go to content type, you select confirm event update, and you go to publish, and voila, just like that, you got a tag applied, and that will be delivered. Now, if you are tagging messages and those tags don't get applied and you get discovered, please do not come crying to me or to Ben, because we warned you. All right. You have to have tags that do make sense. Otherwise, you're going to be discovered and you're going to get in trouble for doing that. All right. So once the messenger step is tagged, you can see a little green blue tag icon at the top right corner. As you can see it right here, this one is blue, right? So it has been tagged, because in this example, it's going to send that message on Messenger, and you have a tag for it applied. So what messages need a tag? Let's imagine a subscriber that hasn't interacted with the bot for a while. What's a while? More than 24 hours. That user subscriber hasn't seen any messages, pressed any buttons or quick replies, or taken any other actions that we covered above for over 24 hours. In short, they did nothing at all. At this point, our 24-hour messaging window is closed. So look out for these particular things in your flows. Smart delays. If you have a smart delay of, like, let's say 24 hours or 48 hours that asks them for a review or asks them for an invitation to share or anything, you're going to have to get that tag, or you're going to have to adjust, which I will show you very quickly how to get that done. Sequences, rules that trigger a flow or sequence, using Zapier, Integromat, or API calls to send a flow, right? These are automated tools. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is a way to automate the whole bot in the interactions, and it's super ninja stuff, which don't worry about it. You don't have to think about that if you're not familiar with it, not at this point. Or subscribe to a sequence. These flows that will be sent outside of the 24-hour rule will no longer be received by a subscriber unless they are properly tagged. Does this mean that we can no longer message a subscriber anymore? Absolutely not. All right. And that's why we need to aggressively get phone numbers, email addresses, and consent. If you don't have phone numbers and emails, you can still engage them and reach them, but it's going to have to be very limited, because you're going to have to pay for it through sponsored ads, and you're going to have to retarget them on social media to bring them back into Messenger. So now it becomes costly. If you have phone numbers and emails, you don't have to worry about that, because generally it's going to be very affordable. And I'll tell you the details on that in a second, and way cheaper than doing advertising to bring them back in, right? So it's of vital importance to get these phone numbers and emails if you don't have those tags, so you can continue conversations even if you don't have the interaction in the last 24 hours. Okay, good. So before we move on to the last section of today, if you don't know how to get started with ManyChat, make sure you go to ManyChat.com, all right? Set up your account, connect your bot. If you already are set up with ManyChat, but you don't know how to get the SMS and the email thing, first of all, you need to have a pro account. What does that mean? It needs to be a paid account. If it's not paid, then you're going to have a problem. All right. So because otherwise you're not going to be able to set this up. So for example, here you're going to have email, and you're going to enable that. It's going to ask you for your contact information. You're going to have your physical address. It's going to have you're going to be able to edit that contact information there, because that information is going to be sent out on that email. You know how it is. These are email rules. You cannot send out an email to an audience without having the name of the organization and your business address. Otherwise, it is going to trigger some spam filters. SMS, very similar. You're going to enable that. Even simpler, you don't have to have any contact information. And then you're going to see the phone numbers here that are automatically assigned to ManyChat, to you via ManyChat. All right. So you're going to easily be able to send SMS from within ManyChat, and they're going to have a certain amount of free messages that you can send out based on your plan. And then they're going to be 1 cent for every single message. So it's very competitive. 1 penny, US penny, for every single text message sent, 0.001 cents for every email sent. So it's actually very, very affordable. So SMS is available for phone numbers in the United States and Canada. The rest will be available this year. They're rolling out countries all over the place. So I know they're working aggressively on this. I am very connected with the guys inside ManyChat. I can tell you this is something that they have as a big priority. Email is available everywhere. Okay, so how to save phone numbers into the system field. So once you get a block to actually remove, to get the phone number from the actual flow inside ManyChat, and you say, hey, I want to send you a message on text with a promotion, etc. Well, if you don't do these two things right here, you're not going to be able to actually save that number into the system field and then send out a broad text message to everybody that has given you their phone number. So once you get that block in, you need to use reply type phone, and also save phone to system field. You have to turn that on. And now you're going to send a message like that. Well, I'd like to confirm the phone number I have for you. Just type the number below if it is correct. If not, or you don't see one, kindly type it in. So now you can see that Messenger is going to pull the number in because they have that data. And you're going to be able to save that data into the system field. Same thing with the email. Reply type email, save email to system field, and now you have the email address saved up on the system field, so you can send out an email to people. You're going to have a consent for email and SMS, so make sure to add an action step on the user input and set the action step. This is very, very important, because if you don't set this action step, ManyChat does not know that that person opted in to get an email or an SMS from you. And that way, if you don't select this option, they're not going to be able to send out an email or an SMS unless you have this action step. So there's going to be one action step on that flow, and you're going to have set SMS opt-in for phone numbers and set email opt-in for emails. Super simple. So you got to get familiar and implement the omni-channel. It's important for you to get familiar with message tags, SMS, and email channels before the changes on March 4th to make sure your channel is compliant and ready to ride the omni-channel era. By getting subscriber information, you will be setting yourself free into a world where you have much more control over your relationships with your customers, and you're not going to have somebody else determine your business fate. So don't wait until March and start building your multi-channel strategy. So very simple, all right? So one of the easiest things that you can do is send out a broadcast, which is you select broadcast, and then you're going to see this thing that says like, I want to start my broadcast with Messenger, SMS, email, or multiple channel. Well, what do you want to do on this particular example? Well, why not try to be omnipresent and send it everywhere? So you can send it everywhere, and now you can send out the same message on SMS, on email, and on Messenger. And if you don't catch them on email, because they are 10%, 20% open rates, you're going to get them on phone number. If you don't, you get them on email, or SMS, or Messenger, etc. You get the idea, right? So as you now have your customer information, email and phone number saved into your system, so you can easily communicate with your customers on their preferred channel. So ManyChat makes it easy for them to for you to be able to record those preferences. So here's an example. So thank you for your recent purchase. How would you like to be notified about your order? Messenger, email, SMS. You do an action step here. Customer preference Messenger, customer preference email, and then if they say email, then you're going to send them a reply that says something like, awesome, just one more step. Can you confirm the email we have for you? Just tap below if it's the right one. If it's not, don't see one, just type it out, right? So now we have the email opt-in set as the action step, as you can see here. As the last thing, we got the email on file. It's being saved on the system field, and now we can send out a broadcast starting with an email if they haven't been active in the last 24 hours. Okay, good. So quickly covered, because I know I already went over my time. So I'm going to go over this very, very quickly. So there's going to be only these 4 tags, and I want to show you guys the examples of it. The confirmed event update. This is solely focused on subscribers that confirmed or wanted to get reminders for an event that's signed up, registered, or reserved for. This tag would apply for both future, upcoming events, or ongoing events. These include classes, appointments, webinar reminders, confirmation of a restaurant reservation, or any notification regarding a scheduled event. How about post-purchase update tag? Well, guess what? It's about post-purchase communication. Focus only on that particular purchase, right? So for example, for Amazon sellers, this is a big deal. Why? Once we get confirmation of a transaction, we can send out notifications with this tag of delivery status or any other notification pertaining to a product they recently purchased. So this is an important one, right? So where can we use this, right? On the Catapult funnels of the Catapult ranking system, on the Shopify abandoned cart funnel, on Coupon Bonanza funnels, on upsell flows, etc. All those things, you can integrate a confirmed post-purchase update tag, so you can send out messages about things regarding to the product, because you can give them an update about something that they actually purchased. So that's really valuable for us as Amazon sellers. Account update, this tag can be used to send out notifications regarding their current application or account. So use case, you can have a job application ad that goes to Messenger to pre-screen the applicants. I don't know a lot of us doing this. I know I am, because in my case, I recruit a lot for my agency. This tag can be used to send out a notification to applicants with the recent changes or alerts about the job application. This is in beta. This might disappear, but this is the human agent tag. It's not available for everybody, but it allows the customer service agent to send out a message to a customer regarding an issue that cannot be resolved within the 24-hour window. So how do you apply the message tags? Very simple. You can see here that a customer service chat, you don't really need to worry about that because these people came in for the customer service chat. So CS chat, so you want to just leave it there and you can interact with them and apply that tag right there because it's going to be super important for you to get back to them if they open up communication through your chat. Webinar reminders, you can see here the first message is fine without a tag because it's the starting step attached to a Grove tool. The subscriber clicked on a ref URL Grove tool, which is a recognized interaction that extends the 24-hour window. I don't know how many of you guys do webinars, but if you do, the second message does require a tag because it occurs 3 days after the last subscriber interaction. In this case, you will use the confirmed event update because it is relevant to an upcoming event the subscriber registered for. So tags not applicable. Here we need to replace the starting step with either an SMS or an email step. Since the message is a promotional message and users are outside the 24-hour window, sending a messenger message is not applicable as we opt to use the SMS feature and just bring the user back to Messenger to visit the 24-hour window. So you can see here that we have, at this point, the starting step is Messenger. And we're like, wait a second. If the window is not open within 24 hours, is not open, then we move it to SMS. And now we start the message on SMS. And it's as simple as what I just showed you right now. We take the starting step from Messenger down to SMS, and we bring them back into Messenger. As simple as that. So tags not applicable. You can also send out both an SMS and email to bring the user back to Messenger. So you can, there's an example over here of instead of just sending an SMS or sending an email, we can send out both. So we can say, oh, the message window, this is the condition. The message window segment is under 24 hours. Okay, good. Send it on Messenger. Oh, it's not? Okay, good. So let's send out an SMS because we have that data. And let's also send out an email because we also have that data because we did a great job of extracting that data because we're ninjas, right? So sequence messages after 24 hours messaging window. Here we need to replace a starting step, same as the previous example, with either an SMS or an email step. And this is the crucial point over here that you have to update if you have your existing ManyChat bot. All flows messages in the sequence should start with the same order. Condition that checks 24-hour window, condition that checks for phone numbers and emails. So you can see here, you can see the two conditions. Starting step, condition that checks 24-hour window. Is it open? Yes. Go to Messenger. It's not open? Okay, go to phone number. If no phone number, go to email, right? Or you can use, like I showed you on the previous slide, you can go to both. Phone number, SMS, and email, right? And now, again, we all go back to the same road. We want to bring people back to Messenger because it's so interactive and the open rates and the click-through rates are off the charts. And that's why we want to keep on doing that aggressively. Wow, that was super ninja, right? Okay, great. I don't even know how long we spent doing this. Hopefully it's not that long. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Now, one more major thing, which is a major super ninja surprise. Some of you guys might already know this. A lot of you guys probably don't, but guess what? You can now import contacts into ManyChat. That's right. If you have your email list that you have accumulated throughout years, if you have your appends that you have gotten from other platforms like Managed by Stats or whatever it is that you do, you have the ability now to get your phone numbers that you have accumulated and your emails and get them imported into ManyChat. So now you can build the multi-channel and keep on getting people inside your Messenger. Super powerful, highly interactive, high open rates, high click-through rates, flows actively. Okay, so you're going to see an option inside ManyChat that says import contacts. If you don't have it, reach out to support. They should be able to activate it. I know some people were going through that and some people got it active, some people didn't. It should be active for everybody right now. You go to import contacts and you upload your list, you tag your list correctly, and now you can build out an email inside ManyChat with an invitation to come to ManyChat and do a messenger thing or be a part of a promotion. And now you connect that with a much bigger, more powerful ManyChat, multi-channel, omnipresent. Whoa, super cool. Okay, so final notes. Also 24-hour window, you can use the 4 messages tags to send out updates to your subscriber or customer. You can use the SMS and email feature to send them a message and bring the user back to Messenger. You can use the live chat section to reply to customers outside 24-hour window with the right tags. Within 24-hour windows, you can send both promotional and non-promotional messages. Again, within 24-hour windows, you can send as many promotional messages as you want, and then you can continue to engage and provide value to subscribers. So is ManyChat dead? Is Messenger dead? Far from it. it is actually a massive, massive opportunity for all of us business owners that are trying to get our business to the next level. Okay, great. So I hope that you guys enjoyed that. Next month, we have a killer training here with the Fast Track Coaching Group. We're going to do a deeper dive into the ManyChat omni-channel marketing era for you as an Amazon seller. So make sure you don't miss out on that one. Show up on time as you show. Listen to Ben. I listened to him for many years, and I was able to build a successful business with his help. And now I'm giving back to him and to you guys by providing you this awesome value that hopefully you guys can integrate. So I'm going to go over how to build an SMS and email and messenger list, all from within one powerful platform that we all call ManyChat. All right. Hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you on the next Fast Track session. Talk soon.
All right. Thank you, Manuel. We're going to wrap up here. And I just want to kind of circle back to that whether you, and I'm going to link up with what Manuel was just talking about, but I'm going to add my little spin to it. So whether you are talking about doing Facebook advertising or Shopify listings or an Amazon listing, whatever you're doing, 10x the emotional copy that you're using, and you will almost always get a phenomenally higher conversion rate, response rate, click-through rate, raw clicks, etc. So just wrapping up, I hope you loved the ideas that we shared. You know, my focus obviously today was on getting you really tuned in on emotional direct response copywriting with the mission to have over 25% conversion rates on your listings. Will it always happen? Of course not. That's not how business works. There's no such thing as all, every time, right? There's no absolutes in business. But knowing that's the mission, it sort of dictates the actions that you take, okay? And I speak not from an ivory tower, I speak from somebody who's actually pulled this off and generated many millions of dollars from the style of copywriting. And I really hope I got you motivated, interested, and excited to go back through that material that I taught earlier and apply it to either a new listing or a new product that you have coming in soon in the FBA, or transforming a current product and making it into a much bigger seller for you. So I hope you love the ideas here. As always, I end the same way: keep it simple. Now, isn't it kind of funny that one of the 3 checkboxes for the Croc brain is keep it simple? And there's a reason why I end these webinars with this slide, keep it simple, because when you are presented with a lot of ideas, a lot of different layers of the onion, a confused mind turns off. A confused mind says no. A confused mind feels overwhelmed. I don't know where to begin. So we end every webinar training by saying, we're going to do the opposite of that. Keep it simple. You hone in on those aspects of what we taught that you just naturally kind of gravitated towards, you naturally got excited about, and focus on doing those. Keep it simple for your Croc brain. What I want from you is a commitment. I want you to take action. Do you think you could do that for me? Yes is the answer. So go ahead, and with this Croc brain in mind, I want you to write down 3 things, 3 specific, simple things you can take action on from today's webinar that you think are going to have a big impact on your business between now and the next time we talk. And by the way, the next time we talk is coming up very shortly. We sort of schedule things in a certain way because I wanted to start with this foundational idea of this emotional direct response copy. And we're going to pivot now to step 2 or lesson 2, you know, in that process, which we're going to be covering here in just a couple of weeks. So you really want to, I strongly encourage you to go back and rewatch my segment on emotional direct response copy and applying it to your Amazon listings. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at this. It's always tough in the beginning. It's like riding a bike, right? You hop on a bike, you ride a little bit, you fall down. You hop back up, you ride, you fall down until eventually, you know, jumping on a bike becomes second nature. And then now you can do it almost unconsciously. That's the point I want you to get to when it comes to good, powerful, emotional, evocative direct response copy. I'm telling you guys, I've told this to my son just recently, the master skill you can learn that can make you an extremely successful, wealthy, and wealthy throughout your lifetime entrepreneur is marketing and copywriting. Everything that it embraces, understanding how to frame a pitch, how to present your product and services, it all bleeds over into other skills like how to sell your ideas if you're in front of a banker and you need a loan, or you're negotiating or whatever. These are complementary skills that you'll be able to use for a lifetime, irrespective of what business you may be in 20 years, okay? So on behalf of myself and the whole team here at Fast Track, wishing you a fantastic rest of your day. And remember, make sure you're back with us live here in just a couple weeks. We're gonna get into our next Fast Track training, where I'm gonna be getting into step 2 of this listing mastery process. Talk to you guys then. See ya.